Welcome to John Pye Auctions, the nation's favourite online auction house. In our online auctions, you can get everything you need, whether it's fashion, furniture, tech or white goods, all at a price you decide. Auction lots include a mix of ex-display, clearance, end-of-line, retail returns, insolvency stock and failed deliveries, plus fully functional lots covered by a John Pye warranty. Bidding online is quick and easy, so visit johnpye.co.uk to place your bids today.
Trent Bridge live. Yes, it's Friday night here at Trent Bridge and it is Vitality Blast action as the Worcestershire Rapids have made the visit to Trent Bridge and they will take on your Notts Outlaws. Now, just to my right, you won't be able to see, but you should hopefully see very soon, a certain Dane Patterson just having a little jig, a little sing-along. How are you, Patel?
Good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. Friday night, crowds are filling up. T20 action.
It's that time again.
Exactly. How are the boys feeling? Are you excited?
Yeah, the boys are excited. I mean, I think they prepped well. They're looking good. So, yeah, I think off to a good start to the tournament tonight.
Like I say, Friday night, we've had obviously the county championship action. It's now into T20. A bit of fun, isn't it? You know, some more players have come into the dressing room like your Hales, Sammits, etc. and stuff like that. Is that just giving it a little bit of a freshen and a bit of a new attitude?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of characters in the dressing room, so having those two just gives an added boost. I mean, it's an old cliche with new faces bring new energy, and certainly they have. So especially also Dan that came in. So yeah, it's been good to catch up with them and having them in the dressing room again.
Nice. Now just to let everybody know that the toss has taken place. Notts won that toss, and Dan Christian, the captain, chose to bowl. As a bowler yourself, do you have a preference on whether T20 you bowl first, or is it down to the track? How do you feel?
Probably down to the track, but I think it's a fresh track. Bit of rain in the week that we had, so hopefully we can use that moisture if they're still there. But it looks like a pretty good wicket. I think playing early in the season, especially T20 cricket, I think it will just favour the bowler a bit more, because I think last year we played it and it was a bit dry that summer, so it was favouring the batters. So yeah, hopefully they can use it well.
Now we've started our T20 campaign at home and we've got some more games to come at home in the next few days. How good is it to get off to a good start here at home in front of our own fans?
Yeah, I think especially this weekend is a big weekend. Go on, you Reds!
I like that.
So I mean, if we could start the weekend off with a win here at Trent Bridge, and then hopefully have another win there at Wembley for the boys.
Let's not talk about that yet. Yeah. We've still got a couple of more days. Let's get this one out of the way first.
Yeah.
I just want to mention the man that you probably saw in the back of the shot, Patel. He's played in every year in the T20, 20 years for Sammit. What can you say about the man? It's an amazing achievement, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it just gets better and better every year. I mean, wherever he goes, he's doing well. So, I mean, credit to him. I think he still has a couple of years in him. But, I mean, it's up to him. But, I mean, like fine wine, eh? It just gets better. So hopefully he doesn't call it a day soon. I mean, it's only 4 overs and he only plays a month or 2 months with 100, exactly. And then a couple of franchise tournaments around the world. So I mean, if you're good, if you're good at T20s, and I mean, yeah, he has a good name around the world. So I mean, it's an unbelievable career that he's still having. I won't say finished, but he's still having a hell of a career.
Exactly. Well, Trent Bridge media staff caught up with Summit earlier on this month, so let's have a listen and hear what he had to say about the 20 years in T20.
That's coming to the equation now. So it's really, really good to see and encouraging for English cricket.
And you're part of a Not side who have seen a lot of success really in the last sort of decade of the competition. I think it's 11 quarterfinals in the last 12 years. How important is it that you have that sort of identity, I suppose, in T20 cricket that Notts have become synonymous with?
It's massive, really. I think that we call Trent Bridge a bit of a fortress. Teams don't like coming here to play us. We just know how to play here, and I know that we've stumbled a few times in quarterfinals, but more often than not we do get to finals day. And hopefully we can go one better this year and try and get to finals day, and then obviously finals day is what it is. But we've got a good squad, we've got a lot of depth, and we look forward to this time of the year. T20 is massive for us, not so like any other format, but we've definitely got the players to try and lift a trophy in this white ball format.
And the members of supporters sort of from day one of the competition took to the identity of the Outlaws and took to you as a player as well. How special is it having their support year on year, really, and out there on the field?
Well, I always say that the crowd out here are like our 12th man, and we need them. So more the merrier, really. I think that we always get good crowds here, but it's just the brand of cricket that we play that attracts it, and the calibre of players that we have, bat, bowl, and field, it's quite good. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And year on year we see these rivalries as well that sort of ramp up the crowd and the members get into it, and you have particular success seemingly against the Derbyshires and Leicestershires. We saw some runs and wickets against Derbyshire last year. Does that really get you up for it as well, those games?
Yeah, there's nothing better than beating Derby in any sort of format, in any sport. So I think Derby is a game that I really relish. So it's obviously the boys from Nottingham are up for me. Fletcher, Borley, Franksy. He's not been playing, and he's very emotional. So it's just the Derby game that we all look forward to, and the crowd do, and I think that we always get a good turnout here.
We've seen a lot of success for Notts, but also some near misses, as it were, against I think Hampshire last year, maybe Worcestershire a couple of years ago. How important are they for growing as a side actually, and taking the learnings from those and moving forward?
Yeah, we've learned a lot from our defeats. I think we always should, and we learn from our victories. And I think that as a side we're growing nicely. We've got a good, nice little mixture of players that can come in and do a lot of versatile roles, and I think that's great to have in the squad. We've got Slats that came in last year for Ducky when he wasn't very well, and COVID was around, and Tommy Moores was ill. So we had some nice depth, and as I said, that on the bowling front this year we've got Jimmy Pat, Dane Patterson, Fletcher, Borley. Good luck to Morsey to get them all in, but we've got a nice squad.
And you personally have obviously earned stints around the world as a result of your plaudits on the field. But what is it that sets Trent Bridge and Notts apart?
It's a special place to play cricket. I've always said that. You just get the feeling that when you step out there, something special is going to happen. And I think that's something that I pride myself on, is trying to be that match winner, and a bit of an entertainer. And I think that I play off that a little bit. And I do need a crowd to get me going. But it's just fantastic. To call that home to call it home for 20 odd years is such a special feeling.
And you've touched on it already, but going into the 20th year, how much would it mean to get to finals day and go all the way this year? Yeah,
I think that we've already had conversations before, me, Alex and Dan, guys that don't play red ball cricket, try and bring some energy to the white ball group. We've not been around as much, bit of banter, and just enjoy our cricket. And I think that if we do that in a relaxed environment, which always is, Pete and Franksy and Boats, the atmosphere is fantastic, and I think that if we enjoy our cricket, we'll play really well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear literally Colin in the crowd there, getting the crowd cheered up. That was an interview there with Samit Patel. Like I said to Dane Patterson earlier, 20 years for Samit in T20, and an absolutely amazing achievement. Let's have a look at some of his stats in just a little bit more detail. And they're quite staggering, really, when you look at it. But nearly 4,000 runs in T20 for Samit, over 200 games for him. Wickets, he's closing in on 200. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he's hoping to get 200 in this tournament. So that is amazing. To get to 200 in this tournament, he will need 19 more wickets. But Samit Patel, 20th year in T20, but also there is another 10 players that are going to make their way out onto this field very, very shortly. Let's take a look at your Notts Outlaws selected 11 for this fixture against the Worcestershire Rapids. This is the one and only Alex Hales. He will be opening the batting and he will be out very, very shortly. Joe Clark, when the time comes with Alex Hales, he will open the batting. He's been formidable in the county championship. How will he get on in T20? Ben Duckett, leading top run scorer in the county championship for Notts. He will be coming in at number 3. We've mentioned one for Samit Patel already. Tom Moores, he will have the gloves in a minute. The captain, Dan Christian, will be leading the team once again this year. Stephen Mullaney, also, he will wear number 5 and he will be making his way down those steps very, very shortly. Matt Carter, the T20 specialist he's been known as, he will be bowling and he's very formidable in the power play. Kelvin Harrison, he made a massive impact last year. How will he get on this year? We will wait and see. Luke Fletcher and Jake Ball, they're well known for their T20 here at Trent Bridge, and they will be part of the T20 fixture against Worcestershire Rapids. Now, for everybody involved in the Notts Outlaws, there is all one thing that we can do, and that is to be more outlaw.
And a very good evening and welcome to Trent Bridge, everybody, for the start of this season's T20 Blast competition, and it's also the 20th season of the T20 Blast competition. Very, very good evening to you from a sunny Trent Bridge. I'm Dave Bracegirdle from BBC Radio Nottingham. As the fireworks are let off, the flares go up in the air, the ground will be covered by smoke, and dear old Dave Bradley, who's sat to my right here for BBC Hereford and Worcester, he just had to check his ticker then. Okay?
Was there any coincidence that you mentioned your name and all the guns went off? Yeah, good evening all. Always a pleasure to come to Trent Bridge. This is of course Worcestershire's second game in the competition, having lost on Wednesday, but it's always great to come here. Always a cheery welcome on the gate, and as I say, I enjoy it. You look down the list at the start of the season, Trent Bridge, yeah, I'll have some of that. The news of the toss is that Worcestershire have won it and are batting first. We'll run you through the teams once we get going. Thought we could do it now, couldn't we?
Well, actually, what I've been told is that Notts won the toss and put them in. But either way,
well,
Worcestershire are batting.
Yeah, there you go. A good start. Outlaws: Joe Clark, Alex Ailes, Ben Duckett, Samit Patel, Tom Moores, Dan Christian, Stephen Mullaney, Matt Carter, Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher and Jake Ball. And Worcestershire: Ed Pollock, Brett D'Oliveira, Jack Haynes, Jake Libby, Ben Cox, Ed Barnard, Matthew Waite, Josh Baker, Dylan Pennington, Colin Munro and Charlie Morris, not necessarily in batting order, of course.
We are going to begin with a little bit of Matt Carter's twirly-whirly stuff from the pavilion end. The ground's not full, but there are plenty of people still coming in. Obviously, everybody in Nottingham well aware of the other sporting attractions over the weekend. Dave, do you want to talk us through the first over?
Yeah.
Matt Carter.
Carter it is from the pavilion end, going right arm round to D'Oliveira. D'Oliveira flicks it away off his pads there, get the scoreboard going with a single. As I mentioned, Colin Munro in the Worcestershire side, his first game of the summer for Worcestershire, first game since 2015, I think. So he's come over, and I believe he landed yesterday and said he wanted to play today. So here he is. One without loss at Worcestershire. Here's Ed Pollock. And this ball from Carter, good line and length, plays it very respectfully back down the pitch. 5 in the circle on the offside, 2 out on the rope on the leg side. Pollock left-hander, forward, pushes out on the offside again. So.
Are you sure it's Ed Pollock?
Yeah.
2 defensive pushers.
I know. Yeah. Don't worry. I think he's working on odds today. Pollock waits, and in comes Carter again, and this is... Ooh, he has a big slash at that one. Moore's the wicket-keeper, obviously standing up, takes it, and 1 run off the first 4 balls. Good start this from Carter. Tall man. Jogs in, and this is turned off his pads by Pollock. They might think about a second. They are thinking about a second. A good throw would have hurried them, but unfortunately that was not a great throw coming in from Joe Clark on the deep mid-wicket boundary, so they weren't hurried in the end. Pollock has 2, D'Oliveira has 1. Worcestershire have 3 without loss after 5 balls. Carter to finish the over, and Pollock just flicks this one away, getting off his pads. Fletcher, who is at a fine leg position, strolls in to pick the ball up, takes his cap off, takes his sweater off, and hands it to umpire Bailey. I didn't mention the umpires. They are Richard Illingworth and Rob Bailey. So Worcestershire, after the first over, are
4, I think.
I don't know. The scoreboard's telling us something completely different. I think scoreboards should tell you the score and little else. Yeah. But anyway,
I think it's 4. You mentioned the umpires. A match referee for this one, James Whittaker, former Leicestershire batsman, of course. Our scorers Roger Marshall and Sue Drinkwater. Ian Smith works the big screens here, so he'll be the one that you're having a go at here, Dave. And Paul Harrison, he always likes to shout out. He looks after the players' welfare over in the pavilions. Good evening, Paul.
I'm sure Davey's only doing what he's told, as we all do.
It's going to be Luke Fletcher to get things underway, bowling to Ed Pollock, who's on 3. First ball is a full toss from Luke Fletcher. He practices those low Yorkers hour upon hour upon hour, and this one, I'm afraid, was almost knee high when it got down to the other end, and Ed Pollock didn't miss out on the opportunity of punching that one away for 4. If you want to get in touch, we'd love to hear from you at Brace Cricket, at Bradders BBC. It's the first game for Notts. It's the second one, Dave, for the Rapids.
Yeah, crazy start to the T20 season for Worcestershire. It's just madness, the fixtures.
There's Fletcher. In again to Pollock. This time he pitches it. It's been lifted up and away for 6 runs. Poor start this from Luke Fletcher, but a very, very impressive shot from Ed Pollock. Picked it up. Nice, clean connection behind square. It was in the air for a long time. Sailed over the head of Calvin Harrison and into the Larwood and Vos. And Pollock has taken 10 from Luke Fletcher's first 2 balls. There was just a second there where I wondered if he'd got enough on it, but he comfortably had.
Yeah, I think the breeze is going that way, so it probably helped in on its way.
Yeah. Fletcher in again to Ed Pollock, who's made a decent start, and he gets this one away into the gap on the leg side, and it's 6 more. Slightly flatter, cannon straight into the wall at the base of the Fox Road stand, and Luke Fletcher has gone for 4-6-6 at the start of his first over here, and umpire Rob Bailey says, can I have a look at the ball please, because he saw it along with the rest of us clatter into that brick wall at the base of the Fox Road stand, and we've got a bit of a mothers meeting on here now.
That first 6, Dave, there was a great crowd catch.
It was.
I like a great crowd catch.
Very much so. Was it down at the Oval where they used to offer £1,000 or something in the early days when they had lucrative sponsors?
Yeah, they did it at Worcester for one season until somebody caught the ball. Best not do that again, lads.
I think you can have some fried chicken down in Australia, can't you, if you catch it?
Oh, do you? Oh, I've often wondered.
I think so. 20 without loss, as long as you've got one of those buckets on your head. And all the rest of it.
Right, okay.
So Pollock is away here, 19 not out off 6 balls, and he's hit this one down the ground, but will be caught by Alex Hales, and Ed Pollock goes. Fletcher with the unflattering figures of 4 balls, 1 for 16, but Ed Pollock can be such a danger man, and he's hit it straight to Alex Hales just inside the ring at mid-on, and he clung on. It was going very quickly, but Notts will be mightily pleased that they've got rid of Pollock. And dare I say, Dave, that's almost a typical Ed Pollock innings when Notts have played against him, either for the Bears or obviously this evening for the Rapids.
Yeah.
Bang, bang out.
Well, it was the low full toss again, wasn't it? But probably a little bit lower that time, and he got it sort of on the bottom of the bat, didn't really cop hold of it, and yeah, it's a funny old game, this T20 cricket, isn't it? You get mullered for 3 or 4 balls, and then you get the wicket. And Joe Root went for 20 off his first over last Wednesday, but off the last ball of the over he took a wicket, so 1 for 20 off 1. And yeah, as you say, Pollock, if he's in for 5 or 6 overs, he can change the whole complexion of an innings. Jack Haynes on his way to the middle, been in very good form with the bat, kiss of death. Centuries in the county championship back to back, and also 60 odd against Yorkshire on Wednesday, so a man in a bit of form.
Yeah, looked good in the county championship match here 3 or 4 weeks ago.
And he's facing, of course, because even though the batsman may have crossed while the ball is in the air, the new batsman has to face.
Like the cut of his jib, as they say, as Fletcher comes in to bowl to the right-hander, who pushes it out behind square. Samit Patel eager to get in the action, rushes in and fields. This match last year, by the way, Samit Patel opened the bowling and he finished with 4 overs 3 for 4, which is a Nottinghamshire most economical record in the 20 years of the Blast.
I'd forgotten that.
4 overs 3 for 4. No rhyme nor reason to it, really. Worcestershire just didn't fancy him on the night. Next ball is pushed by Fletcher into the offside, and what a bizarre over from Luke Fletcher. 4-6-6, wicket ... And he comes out of it 1 over 1 for 16. It's not so bad after all, Luke. 20 for 1 after 2.
We had a choir singing before the game away in the stand on the right-hand side, and they all seem to have disappeared. Oh, I just wanted to, they could burst into song, couldn't they, between overs? Yeah. Cricket requests. Well, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, they were very good.
I think we've had a few opera singers here in the past on Blast evenings. I think there was a bit of a rock band going on in the car park behind us, in the TBI car park before the game.
Jake Ball is going to bowl from the pavilion end. Brett D'Oliveira is going to face him when he's ready to. And Jake Ball's actually dropped the ball. So.
Yeah, so good to have him back. He had a stress fracture, missed a large part, in fact, virtually all of the final 2/3 of last season with that stress fracture. So good to have him back.
Ball it is to Brett D'Oliveira, right arm over to the right-handed D'Oliveira, who tries to tuck this away on the leg side, gets a bit tangled up, and in the end Ball is able to come down and pick the ball up. It only rolled about 3 or 4 feet from Brett D'Oliveira. The floodlights are on, although they're not doing much at the moment because it's a very nice, I'm still calling it early summer evening. Okay, it'll soon be June, but and clear skies away. Which way are the clouds going, Dave? Normally comes in from
the west.
From the west here, doesn't it? Yeah, up the Ratcliffe Road. Ball to D'Oliveira, and this time it's short. D'Oliveira pulls it. Not sure that he really timed that. It made a horrible clunk on the bat, and he's actually looked down at his bat as he's running up the other end. So maybe not as sharp as he wanted, or as clear as he wanted on that shot. But he's got a single. He's got 2. Haynes has 0, 21 for 1. If you just joined us, Ed Pollock caught Hales, bowled Fletcher for 19, 2 6s and a 4 in that before he departed. Cracked it down the ground. Ball to D'Oliveira. Ball to Haynes, who's chipped that one. I hesitated for a moment because I wasn't sure he got it over Alex Hales, but he had chipped it over him and away for 4. So that gets Jack Haynes off the mark. Worcestershire 25 for 1, and we are midway through the 3rd over of the innings.
It's a lovely shot, really. Nice bit of timing. It wasn't a great backlift, was it? And as you say, just about cleared Alex Hales, and then the damage was done.
Ball about to come in, and then he, for some reason, doesn't quite fancy it, so he turns and hurtles in again, and this time Haynes gets a short delivery, which he's got down towards third man. Good stop by Fletcher going down to his left, and they've come back for 2, which is good running by the Worcestershire batsman, because it didn't go a million miles. If Fletcher hadn't got down to it, it would have gone away for 4. But Fletcher and then wicketkeeper Moores came and joined in. Haynes, realising there was a little bit of confusion, comes back for the second. 27 for 1 D'Oliveira, 2 Haynes, 6.
Yes, I think Fletcher saved the boundary there, but maybe they could have restricted them to 1. It was good running though by Haynes.
He's waiting for the next ball, and this is short and high in the sky and boomed out over long off for 6, methinks. Yeah, 6 indeed, says Richard Illingworth. That was not a great ball from Jake Ball. Not quite sure whether he was trying to bowl a slow bouncer or something, but it turned into a rank long hop outside the off stump, and Haynes smashed it.
I was a little surprised that the dugout said 6 to start with, because I thought it was inside the rope, and now they've changed it, Dave, to 4.
Yeah. I think
I'm a long way away from it, but that was just what I thought, and then the dugout said no, it was 6. But
31 for 1.
They've changed it.
Here's Ball's next delivery. It's a better ball. It's chipped away out to Patel on the right hand. Ooh. Picks it up right-handed, I meant to say, not on the right-hand side. He was on the offside. Picks it up right-handed, shies at the stumps and misses. And Worcestershire have another run, and the scoreboard's having a complete fit. So I reckon it's 32 for 1. It's I've got a computer at home like that. If anybody wants it.
We came a couple of hours ago, Dave. We saw the boundary rope, had a bit of a chat, and it's almost, we thought, a statement by Notts here. We brought the rope in. It's not the biggest boundary in the world. We think we can hit more 6s than you. It almost is that sort of statement, isn't it? There's almost as much grass between the boundary rope and the William Clark stand as there is between the rope and the stumps.
I mean, there are bigger hits in T20 cricket to get yourself half a dozen. Not that I could get it over
They
there.
do like high-scoring games here. It is 32 for 1. Dave's absolutely spot on. This one's hit along the ground to Alex Hales, who's at mid-on. It's Dan Christian, the Outlaws skipper, bowling. Remember, he didn't play last year. I think he was actually in England, and then he got the call that after 4 or 5 years absence, he'd been selected again for Australia to go on a tour of the Caribbean. So
good cricketer.
he's also, dare we call him lucky, but he's one of those wherever he goes, he seems to end up as a winner. He's won franchise competitions all around the world. This one's going for 4 though, not the best of deliveries from Dan Christian. Worked away through mid-wicket, nice looking shot from Brett D'Oliveira, and of course with only 2 outside the ring there's lots of opportunity to find that boundary row.
The old flamethrowers, I remember a couple of 3 seasons ago here when Samit Patel went to get the ball back from between the flamethrowers and they went off. He was not a happy little Samit, I can tell you. I always remember that. Couldn't tell you the score or who won, but I can remember that.
37 for 1, Worcestershire losing Pollock, but building again. We're in the 4th over, and this is a lovely shot by D'Oliveira down the ground, but Hales does well to cut it off, and they only get a single. As that left the bat, I thought that was coming all the way down below us to reach the boundary.
He nearly took out Jack Baines at the other end.
Knots in the gold and the green flannels. Worcestershire, is it dark blue or black with the lighter blue?
Yeah, I think it's black.
Looks black, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, people will say that the Knots one is yellow, but I think officially it's gold. The county colours are green and gold, so there we are. Is Christian, squad number 54, clipped onto the leg side by Haynes. 1 bounce out to Jake Ball. Made 37 and 49 here in the championship match. Haynes, he sort of delivered enough so you knew he was a talented player, and then Notts obviously were highly delighted to get him out each time just shy of his 50. But since then he's gone on and delivered a couple of big scores. Really does look a huge hope for Worcestershire cricket for the future. Christian in, D'Oliveira goes to pull it down the leg side, and he's tickled that through to Tom Moore's a fancy. Up goes the finger of the umpire, and D'Oliveira, and leg side strangle they'll call it. He moved across his stumps trying to heave it down towards the long leg, and obviously just feathered it through to Moore's. And Dan Christian has picked up a wicket. It's 39 for 2 in the 4th over. D'Oliveira out for 7, having faced 6 deliveries.
That's a bit of a strange dismissal. Yeah. As you say, he didn't have the room to play the shot really, and he may have brushed the gloves. It seemed to go through very slowly. Colin Munro coming in for Worcestershire. Good evening to Mike. Sorry, Michael. Let's think. Mike Morrison, who's listening in Abu Dhabi. Oh, excuse me. That one suddenly crept up on me. So, Mike Morrison in Abu Dhabi, a very good evening to you. Welcome.
Not the worst place to be, is it?
No, well, it's a very pleasant evening here in Nottingham, with a slightly chill breeze going across the ground, but I suspect it may be somewhat warmer in Abu Dhabi. It may be warmer in Abu Dhabi, but...
So there's 1 ball left in the over, and we've got an Australian to bowl to a New Zealander. That generally tends to get the juices flowing. I would imagine this pair will know each other from meetings around the globe somewhere, probably been teammates somewhere as well. Munro chops this down to short third to Fletcher, and that's the end of the over, and Christian escapes from it with figures of 1 for 7. 39 for 2 after 4 overs. Worcestershire Rapids, we think, or I think they were put in.
You could be right, mate. I may well have misheard the announcement. Yes, indeed, it's come Notts chose to field.
I was going to say it, I may have done as well. Full programme of matches this evening, Dave. 5 have started on time at 6:30. Another 3 start at 7 o'clock. I say a full programme, obviously. With 2 divisions of 9, only 8 sides can play at once, so 16 of the sides are in action this evening. Periodically, I guess we'll have a little bit of a look at what's happening elsewhere. Primarily, your focus and ours is on this game here at Trent Bridge. Here's Mr. Patel.
He is. He's going to be bowling from the pavilion end. He wants his long off to come in to... he just wants a personnel change here, which he gets. So... what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 inside the circle on the offside, 2 on the onside, a mid-on, a deep mid-wicket, and a long off in this first ball. Right on line and forward defensively comes Haynes. Patel, left arm round in between the umpire and the stumps, bowls, and Haynes tickles this one away. Monroe, no. There's a no, yes there. They may well have got away with that.
It was good from Harrison, because he moved as if he was going to swoop and pick up the ball. I don't think it was one of those sort of, I don't know what they call it, false fielding.
Next ball, and this will bring a single, push down to a long off, a comfortable single for Haynes, who goes to 14. Monroe has only faced one ball, yet to get off the mark. 40 for 2 Worcestershire, and we are in the 5th over, and we're watching Sammy Patel still coming around the wickets to the left-hander. 1 or 2 minute field changes again. We've got a deep mid-wicket and a long on of the 2 fielders outside the circle, and that's in the air and over the head of Duckett at extra cover and away for 4. I got the feeling that Colin Monroe didn't get all of that, but he got enough of it to slice it away over Ben Duckett for 4, and the total goes to 44 for 2.
This will cause another field adjustment. They're not putting anybody out though on the offside, they've just reinforced the ring.
If only I could have missed the ball that far.
Yeah.
Next ball is a quicker delivery. It's swept away, but only to backward of square on the leg side where Jake Ball is fielding. Bends his tall frame to prevent any runs. Patel jogs in again, and this time hit straight down the ground. That is not going to go for 4. I would say it has gone for 4.
Yeah.
Well, he's timed that better than I thought he had. Split the mid-on inside the circle and the mid-off outside the circle, or the long-off outside the circle. So good finish to the over for Monroe. He has 8 off 4 balls. Haynes has 14. Worcestershire are 48 for 2 at the end of the 5th over.
Yeah, Samit Patel, we talked about this being the 20th year of the T20 Blast. Of course, he was in it at the start, one of very few players. I think Luke Wright was one. There's only 1 or 2 others left now that played in that first season.
Yeah, it was a bit of a quiz question last season as to who was. The old man of Kent, of course, he may well have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he did. I'm sure we looked it up, but he didn't play the first season. But there we are.
Yeah, Samit did. He's now played more matches than anybody else. I think he's 13 clear. Gareth Batty's second. Well, he probably won't play anymore. And Samit just behind Danny Briggs in terms of leading wicket taker. Here's Jake Ball to bowl the final over of the power play, and he might get a wicket here. It's up in the air. Will it carry out into the deep? It's been put down. It was a decent effort out there. Really was. Calvin Harrison, I think it is, coming in from that offside boundary, threw himself at it. Harrison, who had such a good breakout year last year, it'll go down technically, I guess, as a drop catch, Dave, but it came hurtling in about 30 yards and threw himself at it.
There again, I'm not sure what the wind's doing. That was one that was a sliced shot, and so it was hanging around a bit, and it suddenly dipped on him. So it would have been a good catch if he'd felt it, but he'll be disappointed that he didn't.
Yeah, they only got 1 run as well. I guess perhaps Worcestershire might have stolen a second. Monroe on strike. Jake Ball bowls to the Kiwi, who's cut this deliciously away for 4. Down to 3rd, he just chops it away wide of Fletcher, and fast outfield, shortish boundary, pace on the ball from Jake Ball, and Monroe did the rest, and he's away. 12 from just 5 deliveries. 53 for 2 represents a decent start, but Worcestershire starting to go through the gears now, you fancy, in this final over of the power play. Jake Ball in again to Colin Monroe. He's hit it in the same area, but this time he didn't know too much about it, I don't think. Skewed away off the outside edge, and they'll settle for 2. Clark doing the fielding. It certainly wasn't meant to go there. It's either looking extra cover or even a wide-ish mid-off position, but it's skewed away down to 3rd man.
Who's that fielding down there? Because he's banged his knee.
It's Clark, isn't it?
It is. It's Clark, is it? Yeah. He's banged his knee anyway. He's giving it a good old rub.
Christian and Mulaney, 2 senior advisors, just having a bit of a chat with Jake Ball, who himself has been around the block a time or 2. Just slowing things up here, maybe just trying to knock Colin Munro out of his stride a little bit, keep him waiting. Jake Libby, former Notts Outlaw, due in next. Ed Barnard, who got that brilliant century in the championship match here, and Ben Cox, the next three on the card. Single taken by Munro. Little push and run, 56 for 2.
Yeah, we often say what's a good total in the power play, and I believe that the coaches say 60 for 1 is a good score in the power play.
Yeah.
Well, Worcestershire 56 for 2, so slightly behind that.
I have to say, Dave, I think probably the ground administrators, the financier would be quite pleased now. It's filled up quite considerably over the last half an hour as ball bowls to Haynes, chops it to backward point, and that's a decent throw from Samit Patel. Haynes had no intention of running, sent Munro back. The New Zealander had gone halfway down, had to turn and come back. Direct hit would have been interesting. Rob Bailey was right on the scene.
Somebody been stood over the stumps. I think he could have been in big trouble, but obviously there's nobody that close that can get in for a throw like that. But instant confusion.
Another change, extra cover brought up. Alex Hales drops out from mid-wicket, out onto the fence. Short, edge through to Moores. Wicket for Jake Ball, and congratulations to Jake Ball. Not only is that his first wicket back, this is also his 100th T20 blast wicket for Notts Outlaws, so many congratulations, Jake. Another catch for wicket-keeper Tom Moores, and Haynes has gone nicking behind for 15. Worcestershire 56 for 3.
I think he's nicked the slow bouncer there, hasn't he? It came through, he looped up to him, and really, I mean, you're always annoyed when you get out, but I think Jack Haynes will be very annoyed with himself for getting out, A, in that situation, and B, to that delivery. It was one of those that it could have gone anywhere, but it didn't. Went straight through the wicket-keeper. A very straightforward catch for him.
So that is the end of the power play. 56 for 3. Jake Libby is the new batsman.
I'm just trying to work out who's facing here. Which should be Munro. It is Munro. It's
yes, it's the end of the over, isn't it?
Yeah, they had a chat together, and it looks as if Libby was coming down to the strikers. Then I think I don't think that's right. Worcestershire at the end of the player play are 56 for 3. Kelvin Harrison to bowl from the pavilion end, and of course more fielders are allowed outside the fielding circle. In fact, you have to have 4 inside. 4 plus the wicket-keeper.
Breakthrough year last year, ended up playing in the 100. Notts leading wicket taker with 20 in last year's blast.
Munro waits. This is short down the leg side. That's a wide. There's an appeal by wicket-keeper Moores. I think perhaps he was just trying it on a bit. That was a bit of a rank wide long hop from Harrison first ball. Munro probably be a little bit disappointed that he missed out on that one. Here is the next delivery, and Munro works this one away on the leg side. It's one of those where the bowler has got to go a long way to pick it up, but they don't come back for 2 on this occasion. Often you see batsmen scramble a couple, and the ball's hardly gone off the square. There's a big cheer for something. I'm not sure what that's all about.
No, Munro wasn't interested, was he? He just ambled down the other end.
56 for 3 Worcestershire. Munro goes to 16. Jake Libby yet to face a delivery, but he's just about to. Harrison, right arm over, and this is a quicker delivery. He rolls his wrists over the top of it, or his wrist. He didn't roll both wrists, trust me. He rolls his wrist over the top of it, and it's off the back foot. Libby gets off the mark, pushing it away into the offside where Joe Clark is out there. Clark and Ball are the fielders on the cover boundary, or now they're on the square leg boundary, because Munro is of course a left-hander. And this time he plays the ball back down the pitch. Can't make an angle, can't make anything on that Colin Munro. Plays it back down the pitch and then kind of demonstrates where he thinks he might have been able to hit it. Harrison in again, and this is short and pushed away off the back foot, down towards backwards square. Jake Ball the fielder, 1 more to the total, 60 for 3 Worcestershire in the 7th over. Field changes again, obviously, for the right-handed Libby. 2 men out on the leg side boundary. Sweeper on the offside, long off, long on, and Libby will get the ball out towards long on, and they'll pick up a single all along the ground. One more to the total. Who's that there? Alex Hale's way out there in the distance. 61 for 3. Munro 17 about to face. And this next ball sees Munro once again just tapping the ball away. Tap and run on the leg side. Harrison again has to do his own fielding. Decent first over from Kelvin Harrison, and at the end of it the scoreboard is showing a picture of the crowd.
62,
62.
I think. I don't know if you read Gary watching in Tenerife. Trent Bridge looking great. Thanks for the commentary. Panther Henry, I'd normally be down at Trent Bridge, but I'm currently sat at home listening to your good selves with my 15-week-old baby who is watching intensely. Hashtag start them young.
That's the end of your cricket, mate. Might be allowed out once a year.
It's going to be Matt Carter. He bowled the first over of the match, went for 4 runs. That was from the pavilion end. He's going to be bowling this time from the Radcliffe Road end to Colin Munro, who gives himself the big wind up and doesn't properly make any sort of connection on it. Just drops down by his feet, and Tom Moores comes from behind the stumps to pick up. There's a single anywhere on the leg side, but it looks to me as if Munro, I was going to say, isn't dealing in singles, but he has to take one there, just dropping it away and scampering through for 1 run. Pollock made 19, D'Oliveira 7, Haynes 15, the 3 out. Munro's got a start. He's on 19 from 13. His first match back for Worcestershire Rapids, but his 3rd spell, I think, Dave, as this one's cut away into the offside by Libby. Gets a single.
Yep. Colin Munro is the only batsman I've ever seen reverse sweep a whole over. I can't even remember who the bowler was, but I've never seen anybody do that before.
Let's see if he can do
dangerous,
it here.
He's dangerous.
To the tall Carter, doesn't he? Just chops it away very gently. A couple of fielders there on the ring, and they had plenty of time to take the single. 65 for 3. No Moeen Ali or Dwayne Bravo, who are due to join the Rapids in the next match or two. This is forced away by Libby, the man from Cornwall.
Proud of that.
He is indeed, and always used to wind him up about his Devon roots.
Oh, he's born in Devon.
He would always bite. 29 now, Jake Libby. This one's eased into the offside. They'll take a single. It was almost a leisurely bit of fielding from Joe Clark. It's a good job. He kept his eye on the ball. He was right by the rope, and it was almost a nonchalant reach down to pick it up left-handed. It is the end of the over, but I'm now running into Dave Bradley problems because we've got good pictures of the crowd on the screens, but no idea what the score is. But we'll find out in a moment or two together, I'm sure.
I think Joe Clark had worked out there was a comfortable 2.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to kill myself. Hello to me, I'm with Jim Morris somewhere in the middle of Wales. Reminding me that Herefordshire begin their NCCA trophy campaign with a home match against Oxfordshire at Eastnett on Sunday. Beautiful ground. This is worked away. I say worked away. I think that may have gone off an edge of Jake Libby's bat down towards 3rd man. No chance of taking a run there. The tall man Carter patrolling that area. 68 for 3. Worcestershire make that 68 for 3 as Samit Patel goes across and does his own fielding. We are in the 9th over. That was the 2nd ball of it. Patel ready to go, getting through his overs quickly here. And this time Libby does work the ball away for a single square on the leg side. One more to the total. Calvin Harrison comes in from the deep square leg boundary, then comes in to become a backward point position. Patel still around the wicket, and this time Munro sweeps. It's in the air, but it's safe, and over the boundary rope it goes. 1 bounce over backward square leg. So Munro goes to 26 off 16 balls, and Worcestershire 73 for 3. Munro, of course, was very successful for the Perth Scorchers in the Big Bash. Team I kind of follow the Perth Scorchers, because my mate Matt Mason was working for them.
Of course he is, yeah. He's assistant to Adam Vogers, who
he's gone to Warwickshire this summer. Well, I think permanently. That one's clubbed away on the leg side. They'll come back for 2 by Munro. It was in the air, but it was quite safe because the leg side field is all outside the circle apart from fine leg, or are all outside the circle apart from fine leg. 75 for 3. Munro with that 2 goes to 28. Here's Patel, and this time Munro's gone big down the ground. Has he gone too big? Not quite. Not quite. That was one of those Alex Hale's way out there. It was one of those, do I come in for the catch? Do I stop the 4? And in the end he ended up between the devil and the deep blue sea, and they picked up a single. So Munro keeps the strike. I'll tell you what the score is after the limited edition training tee has gone off the screen. Don't want to keep on about this, but
it was one of those that was always dying on Alex Hale.
It was, yeah. It was a difficult one.
Matt Carter to bowl the next over. We'll give you the score in just a second. 1 or 2 messages coming in. Thank you very much. I'll attend to them just as soon as we can. It's 76 for 3 after 8 overs as Carter bowls to Munro. Cuts this away into the offside for a single. Julie James says, we're watching the live stream, Dave, down in Chelmsford after a fine day. Come on, Outlaws. Julie James is Lyndon's mum. Lyndon down there playing for the first class counties.
That's
11.
Right, he is.
Watched him bowling yesterday, Julie, on the stream down there. Also Liam Patterson White having a good old match. This is a glorious shot by Libby through extra cover. Just waited for it and gave himself a little bit of time, a little bit of room, and punched it through extra cover for 4. And Libby's on to 9, 81 for 3. The Cricket Outlaw says, I'm watching the live stream and listening to the commentary. I'm enjoying a couple of beers. Come on, the Outlaws. Thank you very much for that, Cricket Outlaw. Next ball clipped away by Libby. Now he is one that does run every single run as if his life depended on it. 82 for 3, Libby on to 10. And we're approaching the halfway stage. This is the 10th over. Carter to bowl to Munro, who's crept up to 30, now moves on to 31. I was going to make a point a minute ago and it's just come back to me. Stephen Mullaney, Notts have used 6 bowlers so far. They've not used Stephen Mullaney. I seem to remember he bowled when he was captain last year. He was back to almost bowling a lot of his allocation. This is down the leg side by Carter, taken by Moores, but I seem to think when Dan Christian was here in 2020, Mullaney hardly bowled then, so it's almost like they've gone back a couple of years. Little push and run to Christian here on the leg side, and they take a single. 85 for 3. Yes, the board is very, very quick again this evening. Good work, Ian, apart from between the overs, but well, they've got to.
You're doing your best, mate.
Got to pop the old adverts up there. Final ball of the 10th over. Munro drives down the ground. Here is Stephen Mullaney. I think it's the first time he's actually fielded a live ball. 86 for 3 at the halfway stage. So Worcestershire coming back into it, Dave. They lost Pollock in the 2nd over, D'Oliveira in the 4th, and Haynes at the end of the power play. But the last 4 overs have been pretty decent. 86 after 10.
Yeah, it's that part of the game when you want to push the score along, but you don't want to lose any more wickets because you want to keep some of your batsmen in for the last 5 overs. Good evening to John Salewski in Moore. Good old John. He said, Bradders, don't be late for the quiz in the morning. No, I won't, mate. 9 o'clock. Highlight of the broadcasting week in Herefordshire and Worcestershire.
You tour round Hereford and Worcestershire, is it, on the radio?
No, sit in the studio and ask questions. That's it. Yeah. That's high in the air, but is it high enough? Is it? It is indeed high enough. It's way over into the crowd. Not into the crowd, actually, into the dugout. Fine shot, that one. Really copped hold of that one, did Munro. He goes to 38 off 22. Really, that was it right in. Harrison bowled that right in the groove, and he sent it on its way. Harrison jogs in again. Munro waits. This time he pulls away on the leg side. That's 4 more. That's far too short from Harrison, and he's not going to miss out on that. Munro booms that one away through mid-wicket, and he goes to 42.96 for 3. 10 off the first 2 balls of Calvin Harrison's over.
It's fanciful just to say that Worcestershire's hopes here lie with Munro, but if Notts don't get him in the next 5 or 6, this could be a huge score. If they do get him, there's going to be a lot of work for the lower order to do.
Harrison in again, this time not timed really by Munro. Quicker delivery just outside his off stump, and smashes it into the ground. Walks away a little frustrated there, Munro. I think he thought he should have got something from that delivery. Here's Harrison in again. This time Munro drives down the ground. Only going to get a single this time, all the way along the ground. That's Mullaney way out there, isn't it? Yeah. So 1 more to the total. 97 for 3. Munro has 43. Jake Libby has 11. We are in the 11th over. I think Samit Patel's fan club down there is...
well, it's usually either Samit or Fletcher that's
next ball is whipped away by Libby. Could be a couple here. And no, they're going to settle for 1. And Libby goes to 13. As that one was played away through mid-wicket. Hales from long on had to come round and do the fielding. 98 for 3 Worcestershire, last ball of the 11th over coming up. Munro facing Harrison in, bowls. Munro just dabs away on the offside but doesn't really make contact on it. He is very frustrated with himself now. Wicket keeper Moores comes from behind the stumps to do the fielding. Worcestershire 98 for 3, Munro 43, Libby 12. You're listening to live cricket from Trent Bridge, the Vitality Blast. I'm Dave Bradley, Dave Bracegirdle, alongside me, BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Hereford and Worcester, combining this evening. Mainly because we don't mind each other too much. I mean, some people we wouldn't do it with, but you know.
And we are going to get a little bit of Stephen Mullaney to come on to bowl the 12th over of the innings. For Nottinghamshire listeners, the next 2 matches, Monday and Tuesday, remember, both here at Trent Bridge. Northants Steelbacks on Monday, Lancashire Lightning on Tuesday. They'll both be on the radio, all frequencies, or certainly the FM frequency, Monday and Tuesday evening. So it is Mullaney getting his first bowl of the evening. He bowls to former teammate Jake Libby, who helps it out as far as Joe Clark, and they take a single. 99 for 3.
Yeah, Worcestershire on the Royal Tour. Nottingham tonight, Durham on Sunday. No, Old Trafford on Sunday. There, I'm getting confused. Durham on Wednesday. How you can have 4 away games in a week is beyond me. But there you go.
Next ball on its way. Mullaney bowls to Munro. Just hurries on to him, strikes him on the pad outside the line, and precious dot ball. I take it you've been home between Headingley and here.
I did call in.
Yeah.
Call in and take the dog for a walk. And
it's not ideal, is it?
That's ridiculous.
Worcester to Leeds to Worcester to Nottingham. Next one is stopped by Samit Patel. Good diving effort by Patel at backward point. Saves at least a couple of runs there with pretty decent effort. That is the Worcestershire 100 up, and it has to be said, there's not even a ripple of applause inside Trent Bridge. Low full toss delivered to Libby, and he drives it down the ground to Ben Duckett. 101 for 3.
I think T20 cricket, I'm having a go at the crowd here because it's always a good crowd, knowledgeable crowd. The opposition 100 doesn't get doesn't get raucous applause.
Munro on 44. Can he reach the milestone in style? Oh, he's sliced this, doesn't quite carry to Patel. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips away from the one they're playing on, and the ball landed on the 5th strip away from the one who's playing on just in front of him. That could have gone horribly wrong for Colin Munro. Final ball of Mullaney's first over. He's gone for 4 runs so far. Libby drives down the ground. Notts will consider that as a win. 1 over, none for 5. 103 for 3 after 12. Worcestershire Rapids.
Good evening to Jay, KHFC. Could even Mr. Harris, obviously. Watching and listening, please give a shout out to my mate Tom Owen Evans, who moved from Herefordshire into Worcestershire today. He's left Hereford FC to join Kidderminster Harriers. What a bloke. Up the Reds and Pears, he says. We're going to get a bit Dan Christian here, and he's going to be bowling from the pavilion end. What are Worcestershire looking at from here? 103 for 3, 8 overs left. They'd be 180. They'd be disappointed. They were disappointed at Headingley on Wednesday when they certainly didn't get enough runs after a good start. Here's Christian, right arm over in bowls. That's high in the sky. He's going to go this time, Libby, and a very comfortable catch in the end for Patel. Went up there for a long time before it actually came down. It was Stephen Mullaney come inside the circle there. He confused me then. So he goes, and Worcestershire lose their 4th wicket. Jake Libby caught Mullaney, bowled Christian for 15, and Worcestershire are 103 for 4. Now that changes the dynamic for me.
It does a little bit. It's for me, it's on how many's Munro going to get this evening. He could quite easily get 100 from here, no question. Or if he goes very quickly, it puts a big onus on that lower order, doesn't it? Here's Ben Cox, the skipper, or standing skipper at least, whilst Moeen's not available. A frustrating time last year in the 100 because he was a member of the Trent Rockets here. Yet didn't get a single game. Tom Moore's played all the matches. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's even been called up this time. But there's only one Worcestershire player playing in the 100. That's Moeen Ali, obviously. Although Colin Munro is playing in it, but you could argue that he's not a regular Worcestershire performer. So Dan Christian is really changing his field around here. Not just changing the positions, changing the personnel as well. Patel has come into the ring on the onside. Ben Cox is the new man. Cox, skipper and wicketkeeper of Worcestershire in the early stages of this competition. Christian bowls, Cox works it away on the leg side. It's probably only one, but Cox is one of those who really pushes for 2, but on this occasion his partner Munro allowed no from him. 104 for 4, Cox off the mark. First ball, Munro has 45. We are in the 13th over.
Graham Rowley says, good evening to the two Daves. Looks like a good batting strip. Think if Notts can restrict Worcestershire to 180-ish, got the batting power to knock them off later. We'll have to see, Graham. Munro the key for me.
Christian bowling around the wicket, angling the ball into Munro. Munro just plays a dead bat on it and just trickles away on the leg side. Keeper Moores comes from behind the stumps to pick it up, but they go through for a single. 105 for 4, and Fire Engine comes racing up the Radcliffe Road towards the city of Nottingham.
Cox in ahead of Barnard, is that normal?
Yeah, it is in this competition, I think. Cox is a very good worker of the ball, shall we say, a nurdler of the ball. And Christian's about to come in, and Ben Cox spots something on the wicket, holds up the bowler, apologises.
Sorry, Skip. It's all right, Skip. Went and did the toss off the side of the pitch, didn't they, on the outfield?
Yeah, what was that all about? Next ball is worked away by Cox up to mid-on. Long on is where Alex Hales is, and he comes in to do the fielding. Yes, because the umpires came out to the middle and they walked out over to the boundary rope on the far side. Whether they wanted,
James Whittaker, the match referee, came and fetched them back, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think it's demands of television, Dave.
Yeah, they hadn't got the camera in the middle, so back to this. 106 for 4. Christian in bowls. Munro drives at one bounce straight back to the bowler. I think one or two in the crowd did not think it was one bounce back to the bowler. It was a crowd catch, but most folk, I'm sure, around were aware. Dave says there's a decent little crowd in them. I mean, the pavilion at the far end is pretty full. Yeah, it's a decent crowd for the first game of the season, and we were saying lots of other things going on.
You were at Headingley, more here than.
Yes. Christian in bowls, whipped away by Munro. Probably going to settle for a single. They do settle for a single as Jake Ball comes in from fine leg to field. Dan Christian has bowled 2 overs and taken 2 for 11. A captain's effort, if you wish. Munro 47, Cox 207 for 4 after 13 overs. Yeah, it's difficult to tell because the grounds are configured differently, but I would say yes, definitely more here than at Headingley. Wednesday night at Headingley, they probably get more on a Friday night, as indeed most teams will. Worcestershire's first home game next week against Birmingham Bears. I think tickets, general public tickets, I believe, are sold out.
The Bears and the Pears. Here's Mullaney to begin the 14th over, bowling to Munro's one good hit away from a half century, and that is the good hit. Nicely played by Colin Munro, and he goes to a 33 ball half century. Still there with power to add. Well, the figures on the board are for Ben Cox.
Good. Ben Cox's 2 is well worth.
The only good bit of that from Notts is that Nelson's been brought up on the board now, 111 for 4. Those superstitious Pears supporters might want to lift their feet up. Mullaney's first ball crunched away for a boundary. Next one is likewise hit away, this time behind square. First one through extra cover, this to backward point, and a couple of boundaries takes Colin Munro to 55. Now faced 34 balls. Giving
him a bit of width there, Stephen Mullaney, and with all due respect at his pace, you can't really afford to do that.
No.
What a start from Munro. I believe he flew in yesterday, landed yesterday.
115 for 4. Next ball is again hit into the offside, out to Jake Ball, and it's only a single, and Notts will be, I think, a little relieved that for the time being he's at the non-striker's end and can't hurt them. Ben Cox down to face Mullaney for the first time, takes a guard from former Northants and Derbyshire and briefly England batsman Rob Bailey, one of the senior umpires on the circuit now, as is Richard Illingworth at square leg. I think he also played for Derbyshire, didn't he? Next ball into the pads. They take a leg by. Where did he go after Worcester? Did he have a year for
he did.
For Derbyshire?
He went and played at Derby, got the yips, I think, there. So yeah, he did.
117 for 4.
He's been umpiring for a while now.
Yes, indeed.
On the international panel. Sends me messages from New Zealand about the state of Worcester Warriors rugby team. Never complimentary.
Munro's on strike on 56. Mullaney to bowl to him. Moore standing up. Hit down the ground too. Ben Duckett. Right arm throw in on the bounce to Tom Moores. I've heard the umpires, or observed the umpires having a little bit of a whinge about that. They generally get on their high horse about the fielders bouncing the ball in, don't they?
Yeah, I think if you're that far out, you're okay. But if you do it inside the circle.
Mullaney in to Cox, and they all had to wait because this was very much dependent on whether Stephen Mullaney could throw himself to his right and prevent the single. He couldn't, so they take one, and Mullaney rattles through the over, and it's 119 for 4. And we've had 14 overs. I don't know about you, but these 14 overs have flown by, Dave.
Well, yeah, we've had the spinners on. Mullaney doesn't take an age, does he?
Well, 3 spinners, isn't there? Patel, Carter, and Harrison.
Yeah.
We might get a bit more of Fletcher, Ball and Christian when we get right down to the death, but in fact Dan Christian's going to have the next over.
What we got, 36 balls left of the innings, a run and a half, gets 54, makes it 173, which I don't think is enough. I think you need possibly 180, 190.
Decent track, certainly.
Here's Christian, right arm over in bowls. This is whipped away by Cox out to deep square leg. Samit Patel jogs into field. Lovely evening sunlight. Floodlights are on. The traffic lights away to our right on the Radcliffe Road just beginning to shine a little bit brighter, but it's very pleasant evening. Cool breeze, I do have to say, across the ground. There aren't many, well, there's a few in shirt sleeves, but there aren't many taking their shirts off tonight, hopefully. Christian around the wicket, bowls to Munro. Munro gets this away. 6 penn'orth. A good 6 penn'orth, that is. I think that would be 6 penn'orth if the boundary rope had been way out on the boundary. Really climbed into that one. 63 for Munro off 37 balls, 126 for 4. Really timed that one sweetly.
There's been one Worcestershire centurion here in the blast. That was Callum Ferguson, wasn't it? I've got Ferguson, 102 not out in 2017.
Yeah. Here's Christian in again, and this time a better delivery, which tucks Munro up. He calls Cox through for a single, but Cox has to wait a while because he doesn't want to run into the back of Dan Christian. You wouldn't want to run into any part of Dan Christian. He's a fairly solid unit. So they come through for a single in the end. Cox to face. He's got 4. Munro has 64. 127 for 4. We're midway through the 15th over. Christian just looks around, but can't see any change in his field. He's in and bowls to Cox, and Cox pushes this down the field for a single, out to long off. Mullaney has found his way back out there. Cox's job here is to push for ones and, well, possibly twos, but ones to get Munro on strike. 128 for 4. 1, 2, 3 out on the leg side boundary. A long off and a cover point on the offside boundary. Christian to bowl from the pavilion end around the wicket. This time Munro has got the toe of the bat on that one. I think it was very short and sat up nicely, and Munro didn't time it at all.
I think he just bunted it away, didn't he? I don't think he was looking to reach the fence then. He knew all the fielders were out, just bunted it away on the leg side and took the one.
He goes to 65. Cox has 5, 129 for 4. The Nottinghamshire flag on top of the pavilion is flying boldly away from the flagstaff, which indicates that if there's any breeze, Christian is bowling into it. He's in and he bowls, and this is turned away by Cox. Might think, no, not going to think about 2, as Patel comes in. One bounce back to the keeper, and at the end of the over, Worcestershire are 130 for 4. Ha ha ha. I got the score in before. I got the score in before the crowd came up on the scoreboard.
You've got to look as soon as the last ball's bowled, haven't you? Yeah. Just very quickly, elsewhere this evening, the Roses game at Old Trafford. Lancashire 111 for 2 after 13 against Yorkshire. Listen to this one. Northants at home to Durham. 149 without loss after 13. Chris Lynn and Ben Curran 70 odd apiece.
Dear me.
Gloucestershire 112 for 3 against Sussex at Bristol. Glamorgan 95 for 3 against Surrey. And in the 7 o'clock games, Birmingham 52 for 1 after 5 at Derby. Middlesex 36 for 3 after 5 at the Ageas Bowl against Hampshire. And Kent 61 without loss against Essex after 6 overs. That's at Canterbury. Here's Carter. One of those dangerous players, isn't he? Chris Lynn, a little bit like Munro. Get him in, and he's got such a good eye, he can quickly take the game away from you. This one's pulled away behind square. First ball of the over by Cox, and at the moment 7 from 8 balls is that. He's just doing a good job here. Just keep getting Colin Munro back on strike. All he has to do. 131 for 4. Carter to Munro. Went down onto his knees very quickly there. Munro for the slog sweep. Didn't properly get hold of it. Takes a single. Mullaney over on that side of the field now in front of the Fox Road stand, and they get another single. 132 for 4. Matt Carter bowls to Cox, and again he's just happy to dab it away, get the single, take this partnership as deep as he can before he also decides it's time to try and find the boundaries. Barnard, Baker, Waite, Pennington and Morris to come. Carter bowls. Munro charges at him, and Tom Moores has missed a stumping. Munro throws his bat up in the air and catches it. Tom Moores couldn't take the ball and whip a bail off. Munro, perhaps needlessly, chanced his arm there. He came dancing down, waltzing down the track, had a big swish, missed it, and Tom Moores couldn't gather it. This time he's played across the line and missed it. It's hit the keeper's pads and they've gone through. In fact, it's a leg by, so it must have just brushed the pad, but a let off for Munro on 66. He should have been stumped. Carter now to Cox. Went down the leg side, tried to paddle it away, missed it, and because he got nothing on it, they can have that ball again, a leg side wide. So missed stumping by Moores off Carter when Munro was on 66. Next ball just hit out into the deep by Cox. He's run the first one quickly, but he must know there's only going to be a single, and that's the end of the 16th. 136 for 4, and Carter 4-0, 25-0. He's the first of the Outlaws bowlers to finish his allocation. It's pretty decent from Matt Carter. Bowled the first over, and by the 16th he's finished his allocation. 136 for 4, could have had the wicket of Munro.
Colin Munro's highest score for Worcestershire in T20 cricket is this one, eclipsing the 65 he got against Derbyshire in 2014. Thanks to Phil for providing me with that one. I'm not a good enough stato to have worked that one out. Luke Fletcher's going to come on from the pavilion. Had a very interesting first over, went for 16 but took a wicket.
It's an over of 2 halves.
It was.
Is it 466 wicket ...
Yeah. So, Ben Cox to face, 24 balls left for Worcestershire, 136 for 4, below par if they don't get 180, I don't think. Anyway, here's Ben Cox. What can he do? Fletcher bowls, Cox works it away on the leg side. One more to the total.
He's doing absolutely the right thing, though. He's he's rotating the board every ball he faces and getting Munro back on strike.
Yep. 137 for 4. The sun has left us, but it was nice while it was here, and we thank it for visiting. Fletcher going to bowl around the wicket to the left-handed Munro. Once again, 3 out on the leg side on the boundary, long on mid-wicket and square leg, 2 on the offside, long off and extra cover. This ball is very short. It's gone high in the air. It's gone caught. It was not the best ball that Luke Fletcher's ever going to bowl, but it's gone off a top edge, and Samit Patel coming round at a short third man position takes the catch. Munro goes. Could be a big moment in this game, and as I say, I'm sure Luke Fletcher has bowled better deliveries than that in his career, but he's got the wicket, so there you go.
It was horrible cricket all round, really, wasn't it, apart from Samit's part of it. Munro caught Patel bowl Fletcher 66, 43 balls, 7 fours and 2 sixes for Colin Munro, but it was a shocking ball from Fletcher. It sat up there to be hit. Munro got a top edge, and I don't know, I think my money was on the ball. Good work by Samit Patel. He had to move sharply to his right and leap in the air, but he did both of those things nicely and takes the catch. And here's Ed Barnard, who got 160 odd in the county championship game here, about 3 weeks ago now. 137 for 5.
A very different scenario here for Ed Barnard. He just had to bat time basically in that game. Obviously he needed runs, but it was the time and the soaking up of the overs, and then avoiding an innings defeat. In the end, giving Worcestershire a chance of a victory, but Nottinghamshire outbatted them. But this is, as I say, a very different scenario for him. Barnard waits for Fletcher's first delivery, and he's dabbed it down in front of him. They're going for a quick single. Luke Fletcher, a big fan of the Nottingham Forest, I believe, and he just proved there why he plays cricket and not football. He tried to flick that. It was nice because it was the outside of the right boot, but missed the stumps by some distance. 138 for 5.
Yes, he's off to Wembley on Sunday with his lad Freddie, going down with Samit and his lad. I thought the field. No, we still got. We got 3 out on the leg side again for Cox. So pretty much the same field. Although long off has now come in to mid off. Here's Fletcher bowling to Ben Cox. Cox drive. Oh, he's got that one away in the air. He's pulled it over deep mid wicket, over into the crowd. Good crowd catch again. Good crowd catching at Nottingham this evening. I think they've been practicing, but it was a good strike way over top of Calvin Harrison into about 6 rows back. Textbook play from Cox, because whilst Munro was there, he was just happy to push the singles and get the New Zealander back on strike. As soon as Munro had gone, now he's taken up the baton just to get Ed Barnard acclimatised and let him have a little bit of a look without too much pressure.
144 for 5 in the 17th. Here's Fletcher in again, and this is driven through the offside by Cox. He might get 4 here. He is going to get 4 here. He timed that perfectly. It was a proper cricket shot cover drive, if you see what I mean. Dan Christian, I think it was, who sort of shadowed that towards the boundary. A plane banks away in the distance and heads towards East Midlands Airport. Yeah. I was trying to work out whether it was coming up or going down. As long as the pilot knows, it doesn't really matter. 148 for 5. Cox has 20 of 13. Barnard yet to get off the mark. Cox it is, who is facing last ball of the 17th over. And to this one, it's whipped away in the leg side. Could go here, goes here. Calvin Harrison with the catch, straight to him. Didn't really have to move, just had to judge it properly. So trying to repeat the shot that he played earlier in the over, and Cox goes, caught Harrison, bowled Fletcher, and Worcestershire are whatever it doesn't tell us on the scoreboard.
Luke Fletcher will be the first to admit he's sent down better overs for less reward than that. 2 wickets in the over. It's 148 for 6, Dave, I think. Yeah. With Ben Cox out for 20, a 4 and a 6. Batted for 20 minutes, faced 14 balls.
End of the 17th.
He's a loanee, isn't he, Matthew Waite? From Yorkshire.
Currently on loan from Yorkshire. Made a good start with his best championship figures against Leicestershire, taking 4 for. Not had much cricket. Well, obviously that's why he's come down to Worcestershire on loan. He's not had much cricket for Yorkshire. I would call him a bowling all-rounder, Matthew Waite. He may disagree with me, but he is not going to be facing anyway, because that was the last ball of the over. They didn't cross while the ball was in the air, so it's Ed Barnard who's going to face. 148 for 6, 18 balls left. Danger here that Worcestershire are going to, for me, underachieve.
It'll be Samik Patel to bowl from the Radcliffe Road end. This is his 3rd over. Barnard down on one knee. That's a good connection. We'll come back for 2. Jake Ball a sliding stop in front of the Smith Cooper stand. Away to our right. That's the Rapids 150, up 150 for 6. Samik Patel wicketless so far this evening. None for 19. He's in his 3rd over, bowling to Ed Barnard now, who just punches this out for an easy single. Christian doing the fielding in the bright sunshine. He's looking straight into the sun there at extra cover. 151 for 6. Matthew Waite taking guard. Right-hander. Pushes this straight to Christian. A precious dot ball. Patel hurries through his overs, which in itself brings its own pressures to the batsman. Waite cuts this away out into the deep. He'll get a single. He's off the mark. 152 for 6. 14 balls left in the innings. A run of ball is 166 from here. They'll want more than that, you'd imagine. There's an LBW shout. They're asking umpire Bailey for LBW against Ed Barnard, who played the switch hit, quickly turned himself into a left-hander, tried to heave it away, missed it, and in the opinion of umpire Bailey, would have gone down. A leg by taken. 153 for 6. Next one is punched down below us, where Ben Duckett does the fielding. Again, he bounces it into Moores, and at the end of the 18th over, 154 on the board. Just 12 balls left. And Worcestershire 6 wickets down. Josh Baker, Dylan Pennington and Charlie Morris are the 3 batsmen we've not seen.
Jake Ball back on from the pavilion end to bowl the penultimate over of the innings. Wait to face. That Northand score, by the way, 186 for 3 I've got, with 4 overs or 3 overs and 3 balls left. So
Durham won their first match, didn't they, at Leicester last night?
Yeah,
I think it was.
It's
Warwickshire big winners over Northants in the first round of matches.
Mr. Sterling got going there.
He did.
He is. when he hits it, it stays hit, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a job to keep up with it all at this stage of the season. Here is the first ball of the 18th over. That's in the air. It could go. He does go. Straight down the throat. Oh, is that Alex Hales out there? It is Alex Hales, yeah. Out there in the sunshine. So Matthew Waite goes. Really not much choice at this stage, because Worcestershire can't mess about with dot balls. In the end, you could say it was a dot ball. So Court Hales bowled ball 4-2, methinks. It is 2. Worcestershire 154 for 7.
11 deliveries left.
Not over much, with great respect to those about to come. Josh Baker can bat, but this is only his second ever T20 game, so a lot of pressure on him. He's basically got to get a single and get Ed Barnard on strike. I would have thought, probably saying that, he's going to smash it into the pavilion for 6, but I would think that's his role at this stage of the proceedings.
Now this is the young left-arm spinner that we saw here in the county championship game, and sadly after he'd played here, he ran into Mr. Stokes, didn't he?
He did. As ball is in bowls, and he's done exactly what he's supposed to be doing. In fact, that might have gone away for a couple, so they're going to come back for 2. So 2 to Josh Baker gets him off the mark. Worcestershire go to 156 for 7.
Were you at that game?
I was, yeah. The great thing about that was that evening he got a text from Ben Stokes saying nothing personal. It's happened to me, which indeed did happen to him in a World Cup final.
That's class, isn't it? Really,
it is. Oh, I thought it was brilliant. Stokes. Here's the next ball, which is driven back down the ground. Won't get anything for that though, as bowler ball stretches.
And just remind me, first 5 balls went for 6.
Yeah, and the last one was just short of the rope.
Did Cigarfield get a mention?
He did, and Ravi Shastri, of course, who did it. But I have to say that Stokes throughout that game was brilliant. Signed all the autographs, did all the interviews. Outstanding.
I generally think he's that sort of character. I mean, I think he's done that in previous years. 156
for 7. Baker gets hold of this one, or doesn't really smash it too far, but he gets it back down the ground to get Barnard on strike. 9 balls remain. In fact, 8 balls remain of the Worcestershire innings. 157 for 7.
It's not a personality change just because he's become England captain. Whenever I've seen him either in the northeast or down here, he's been the same.
He was.
He does put himself out with the crowd.
The attendance in the Worcestershire press box for the first day of that game was about,
I can imagine,
573% higher than it was for any other day this season. And he didn't get to bat either. 157 for 7. Here is Ed Barnard. Barnard gets a full delivery as well, ball by ball. Manages to just push it out on the offside. There is some not for more than a millisecond did they think about taking a second as Dan Christian came in. 7 balls left of the innings, 158 for 7.
You said 180 was your absolute minimum. Would you take 170 now?
Well, they've kind of done what they did at Headingley the other night, Worcestershire. 103 for 3 in the 13th. They've rather not subsided, but Munro, as you said, was going to be the key to this innings, I think. Baker waits, this ball, it's a full length one. That's a good over from Jake Ball, who finishes with 3 overs, 2 for 24. But he got that Yorker going there, and the Worcestershire batsman couldn't really do too much with it. So 1 over left of the innings. Barnard 5, Baker 3. If you've not been with us the rest of the evening, Pollock 19, D'Oliveira 7, Haynes 15, Libby 15, Munro 26, Cox 20, and Waite made 2. 1, 2, 3 for Fletcher, 2 for Christian, and 2 for Ball.
Yeah. Luke Fletcher is going to bowl the final over, so we can tell you the rest of the figures now. Then Samit Patel, he'll finish on 3 overs, no maidens, none. There is no maidens for anybody. Patel 3 overs, none for 22. Harrison 2 overs, none for 18. Mullaney 2 overs, none for 16. Carter 4 overs, none for 25, and Ball 3 overs, 2 for 24. Did I mention Christian? He's 3 overs, 2 for 22. So just Fletcher to go. He's 2 overs so far, 3 for 28, and perhaps a little bit of fortune He bowls a ball that's very, very full. Again, the appeal. Rob Bailey turns it down, but it is a leg by. 1 to the total. Must have got outside the line there.
I think he did, yeah.
Barnard.
Yeah.
Trying to help it down to long leg. Bringing Samit Patel into play. He'd have been on red alert, wouldn't he, Patel? Because he's at, I beg your pardon, fine leg, because he's up inside the circle. Batsman certainly gave everybody his intentions there, but they've changed over. It's Josh Baker on strike. 3 from 4. The Rapids 159 for 7. A buzz around the ground as Luke Fletcher comes in nice and full, and Baker drops it on the leg side. They'll run the first one quickly. Ben Duckett comes in and fires it towards the stumps and narrowly misses. I think Barnard was gone for all money had there been a hit, but it's not often you can hit the stumps direct from about 35 yards away. It's a good effort from Duckett, narrowly missed. In fact, he says it's even closer than that as he gestures to everybody, and they take 2.
It's that stage where they, if there's a glimpse of 2, you've got to run 2.
Exactly. Yeah, it was good fielding, but it was also nicely played by Baker and good running. Luke Fletcher in charge of his own field here, because he sent Patel from short fine down onto the rope and brought Hales inside the ring at mid-off. Fletcher in. It's shortish ball up in the air, and Luke Fletcher's big bucket hands will pouch that, and it's a 4th wicket on the evening for Fletcher as Josh Baker goes. Caught and bowled, the big lad. And Worcestershire are 8 wickets down, and Luke Fletcher has figures of 4 for 30 in his 3rd over. It's 161 for 8, and Josh Baker out for 5.
Yeah, no choice at this stage of the inning.
No.
Got to swing at everything, and that was a short shot. He's done well with his short deliveries tonight, Luke Fletcher, but that was pretty short. He just got it on the slice of the bat and couldn't really do too much with it. As comfortable a catch as Fletcher's going to get this season.
New man is Dylan Pennington, who made his first-class debut on this ground back in, was it 2017, the pink ball game? Yes,
it would be. What a great idea that was.
Yeah. Fletcher's only ever had 1 5-wicket haul in the Blast. That's me putting the mockers on him. This is his 94th game. He's got 4 for 29 at the moment. 161 for 8. 3 balls left. He bowls to Dylan Pennington, nice and full, and Pennington, fresh at the crease, drives it down the ground to Duckett. And it's 162 for 8 with 2 balls left.
Got these black batting gloves, Dylan Pennington. I think Josh Baker has them as well. Black batting gloves. Oh dear me. Us traditionalists, we ain't keen on black batting gloves. Looks as if he's a magician about to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Well, the magicians have white gloves, come to think of it. So kindly ignore the last 10 seconds of this commentary, folks. I'm just babbling along now.
White gloves and the old black magic wand. There's Fletcher. Ed Barnard's on 5. He's only faced 6 balls. What can he do now? And he goes to cut this one away, and he's edged it through. And Fletcher has got his 5 for Barnard, caught behind by Moores, who gets his 3rd catch of the evening. And unbelievable stuff really for Luke Fletcher, because he's had an evening, remember Dave, where he started 4-6-6, and at that stage, if you thought Luke Fletcher was going to return career best figures, because that's what he'll do whatever happens now, well, you'd have thought I was a madman for suggesting it. Ed Barnard out, just faced 7 balls, caught behind off Luke Fletcher for 5, 162 for 9.
Yeah, and I'm in danger of repeating myself. It's never stopped me before. Worcestershire in danger of, I think, are probably 30 runs short.
It's a score though, Dave. It's
a score.
It's runs on the board. Everybody who saw the quarter-final last year will remember.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Pressure brings its own own issues that you've got to deal with. Notts couldn't chase down 1-2-5 here in the quarter-final last year.
And of course the semi-final at Edgbaston, when that was all but over.
Mr. Parnell bowling to Ben Duckett, wasn't it, the final ball? 162 for 9, so whatever happens, Fletcher will have career best figures, because he's 5 for 30 with 1 ball left, and his only previous 5 was 5 for 43. Can't see him going for more than 13 off this delivery, however many wides or no balls he bowls. quite extraordinary. 5 for 30, and he was none for 16 off 3 balls. There's Fletcher, then bowls to Charlie Morris, who makes a good connection of this down the ground to Duckett. Might be a run out because they've got to come back for 2, and Duckett's maybe gone to the wrong end, and that's what Luke Fletcher's telling him. So they do come back for 2, and Worcestershire finish on 164 for 9. Charlie Morris 2 not out, Dylan Pennington 1 not out, Luke Fletcher 5 for 32. He only bowled 3 overs, and well, what a couple of years Luke Fletcher's having. Whatever, red ball, white ball, bat in hand as he was at Lords. He became a world record holder last week, Dave. I don't know if you...
yes, I saw that. Yeah.
The first batsman in a game to get
50 batting first and
number
batting
11
last.
and 50 at number 1. Extraordinary stuff, and he's getting embraced by his teammates as he makes his way off the field. 3 overs, no maidens, 5 for 32. Munro the key, as we suspected. It was Fletcher that got him out. It was a wretched ball, a poor shot from Colin Munro and a good catch from Samit Patel, and that almost summed up the innings. Probably weren't at their best, although it is the first game of the competition. Weren't at their best with the ball, and maybe 1 or 2 opportunities slipped away in the field, but they did enough, and there were probably too many errors from Worcestershire and nothing really after Munro, although Ben Cox played nicely for his 20.
No, I say it's a mirror image. The scores were a bit higher of Worcestershire's game on Wednesday rather, against Yorkshire at Headingley, when they should have got a bigger score by at least 20 runs.
So that is the end of the first part of this T20. Worcestershire finish on 164 for 9, but really from a Notts point of view, it's all about the Bulwell bomber, isn't it? What an amazing bowling performance from Luke Fletcher there. His best ever figures, 3 overs, 5 for 32. A fifer for the Bulwell bomber, amazing. But from a Notts point of view, they will be chasing that 164. I will be back very shortly with a special guest right after this. So as you can see, I am now joined by a TV presenter, but forget about that. It's more about the honorary member of the Outlaw, should we say crew?
Yeah, I'm an outlaw now, aren't I? Adopted outlaw.
Adopted?
Yeah, that works.
Adopted. How are you anyway?
Yeah, good. Yeah, really happy to be back. Obviously watching the cricket. It's been a well, we don't want to talk about the last few years, but obviously I was up here last year, managed to get up here, but no, just make the sun shining. What better place to be than Trent Bridge, eh?
Exactly. Really nice and warm, isn't it? That's what we were just saying. It's
mate, I'll tell you now, it probably looks great when you're watching through the live stream now on your TVs, but this is absolutely bolty. I've nicked my mate's jacket.
Yeah.
He's shivering in the back. He literally is shivering. It's so fresh tonight.
Who are you here with today? Who have you come with?
I just brought the family down, I'm up in one of the hospitality suites up there, so I've been well looked after. Obviously, It's fantastic here, as it always is at Trent Bridge. But yeah, just brought friends, family. Mum and dad come tonight as well.
Nice. Have they been here before?
Yeah, my dad has, my mum hasn't. She wanted to pop along. She asked if there was room, so we got a minibus. So yeah, she's come along. But we obviously Gloucestershire born and bred. But my brother played for Worcester, grew up with a few of the lads who came through, like Ben Cox and Brett Oliveira tonight. So dad's obviously seen them play at very junior level. Yep. So it's nice for him to come out and watch the cricket. He enjoys it. But yeah, it's great, mate. Good to be here.
So as we've mentioned, you are an outlaw.
Yes, I am an outlaw.
Have you been singing along to the outlaw chants? Luke Fletcher there with a fifer.
Ball bomber. But I'll tell you now, first 3 balls I was thinking, Christ, this could be expensive, Fletch. But yeah, I'll tell you, he pulled it back. He bowled well.
He did.
He'll fifer. He's buzzing with it as well, wasn't he?
I think that's what it shows you though about T20. I mean, you're a cricket guru, but you can have those one deliveries that go for 6.
He'd call them looseners, those 3. But yeah, those first. But no, do you know what? It's bounce back ability. Yeah. That's all in sport. But cricket, as a batsman, you don't get those second opportunities. But as a bowler or fielder, you get the opportunity to get it back anyway.
Exactly. Now, I'm sure everybody can hear that. I mean, should we do a little 2-step?
Yeah, we do. Line them, yeah, come on.
Go on then.
Where does it go? Towards you.
I'll go.
Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum.
This is what it's all about.
It's good crowd tonight, early in the season, because crowds will build, won't they, as it goes on? But
exactly. I mean,
get everybody off from their sofas or whatever they're doing tonight.
Exactly. I bet there's a few at home just dancing along.
Yeah, they will.
Now you've been to many cricket grounds.
Yeah.
We do talk about Trent Bridge, and you have been here. What's your mum thought first of all? Because it's first time.
Oh, she loves it. She loved the fireworks. I didn't really see them. I said that's because it's not dark, Mum. But we'll get him to work on that. You might see a few at the end, but no. Yeah, she loves it. Trent Bridge is so good. Yeah. It's so good. It's a lovely cricket ground to come to. It's always a nice, friendly, family atmosphere, and obviously the cricket on show's great and the ground's perfect. But I'll be back here for the 100. I'm doing all the coverage again for the BBC. So that obviously kicks off 3rd of August. We've got the same amount of games on the BBC, and I think it's the 6th. So the first Saturday of August we'll be here at Trent Bridge, and I think you've got.
Come on, putting it on your. It's all right, nobody's watching.
Don't know. Maybe Birmingham Phoenix. I don't know.
Phoenix, yeah.
I have no idea. I forgot. But I'm here anyway.
What I've learned in this, and you'll know this, say something confident.
Yeah,
and then
people
will
believe no one will remember.
Nobody will remember anyway. Just talking about the cricket, 164 there from Worcester.
That's not enough, is it?
Do you not think?
Mate, I'll tell you, when I got here, I was thinking these boundaries are up. It's not. It's a flick each side, isn't it? So I thought probably average on that deck. It didn't look like it was doing too much. I'd have said, if you'd have offered Worcester 190 at the start, I think they'd have probably said that's about par, give or take.
It's getting bigger every year, isn't
it? And their wickets were wickets. I mean, they've thrown 7 of those away. Some swing of the bat. Poor deliveries have got wickets. But it's well below par.
So from a Notts point of view, let's dig into that dressing room now. You know a few of the lads. Who would you say you know the best? Who's your real mates in that outlaw crew? Who can we rely on out here next innings?
I think Joe Clark. I've been chatting to him. I'm going to meet him for a beer afterwards. Might get in the dressing room if I can. He said he'll give me a text and I'll be in the dressing room, so I'll hold him to that. But I think I've got to take about 10 in there, so we'll see how that goes. But I mean, Clarkey gets going. Hales and obviously Ben Duckett top of the order. I mean, it's an international top 3 that. Yeah. So if they get going, this could be over in the power play. You score 70 off the first 6 here. Wickets. Worcester will need to take wickets in the first 6. Whether they do or not, we'll wait and see. But yeah, they're the key to this chase.
Fancy yourself as an opening batter? I know we've talked about this before.
I give it. Yeah, I mean, they used to chuck me in when I played in my local club. I was more like a sort of middle-order, lower-end batsman, more of an all-rounder. But they chucked me. I'm a bit of a pinch hitter. Anything full and outside off, get the treatment.
Yeah.
So I do fancy that.
Full gone.
Just get offside, very cover up. Yeah, lefty.
Lefty. You look like a.
You see that? Yes. Bottom hand. Yes.
Now, before you go, because I know it's absolutely freezing, you're shivering.
Right. I've warmed up now. Yeah.
A few of the lads have asked me, because they knew that I was going to talk to you. Yeah. We need your advice.
Go on.
Okay. Now, you're a Mackham.
Yes.
Sunderland fan. You were at Wembley.
Hey, where are the lads? Yeah, I was. What a weekend.
What
that was.
advice have you got for us? Because a few of us are heading to Wembley on Sunday.
Forest, yeah.
Forest.
Do you know what? Confidence.
Yeah.
Straight up. I went into, albeit you lot have got Huddersfield, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, we obviously had Wickham. Well, I say not too many dissimilarities in the clubs you're playing, but we're the giants there. You're not Forest and Sunderland, we were the giants there. Sunderland took over Wembley. I imagine Forest will take over. You go there, you get his confidence. Confidence. Like I knew Sunderland. I knew we'd win on Saturday.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm so confident Forest will go up. That first tie, I watched that against the Blades, mate. It should have been 3-4 nil up that day. It should have been done and dusted. Made it uncomfortable. Keeper had a blinder, but yeah, I'd love to see Forest back in the big time. Deserve it.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be good. We're looking forward to it, but we're nervous. Us lads are nervous.
Don't be.
No?
Embrace it. To be fair, it's the more. I didn't sleep the night before Sunderland. Friday night, mate, I was up. I was just restless, checking the time, and I'm thinking, God, it's 3:30, 4 in the morning. Didn't sleep.
Just
You'll be
grabs
fine.
you, doesn't it? Grabs you.
Oh, it's unreal. Wembley, baby.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. It's cold. You've got your family to get to.
Yeah,
You're
get a beer.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to shake your hand.
Bless you.
Cheers. All
Thank
right.
you.
Chris Hughes there. Till next time. Till next year. Till next year.
Yeah. No, I'll be back before then. Next year.
Well,
Be up in a few weeks. Come on.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put you onto it very quickly before the batters come out, before Alex and Joe come out. Next year on the stream.
Yeah.
Blast, me and you co-present.
Yeah, 100%.
Deal?
We'll do it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll get that sorted.
Yeah, first game or something like that.
Yeah, you can get that sorted. You got enough pull to sort. It's your show, isn't it?
Exactly, it's my show. Chris Hughes said it's my show, everybody. Right, hand you back over to your commentary team.
Nowhere near enough. But it's a funny old game.
It is.
And you never know.
30 for 5 at the end of the power play. Let's see what messages they're sending you.
Yeah. What have I got on here? Nowhere near enough. Same as Wednesday, 30 short. Doubt it will be enough.
We're going to find out. Alex Hales and Joe Clark on their way to the middle. Hales has played a couple of, they call them second 11 friendlies, don't they? A couple of Blast warm-up games. But meaningful cricket, nothing since February. Played in the Big Bash in Australia through the winter, and then he went into the PSL, is it, the Pakistan Super League in February, and then I think his words were bubble life just got on top of him a little bit, has to come home. He got selected or drafted for the IPL by one of the sides, and then has to be released from it as he didn't fancy any more bubble life. So he's been back in England for a while, and they just turned down that. In fact, I'll turn off that effects microphone.
Josh Baker to open up.
Crikey, it's noisy, isn't it?
It is a tad.
It is a tad. The music will die down in a minute, and Colin's done a good job whipping them up on the microphone. We're going to have some cricket in a moment. I'm going to enjoy watching Josh Baker bowling to Joe Clark and listening to Dave Bradley.
Oh, nobody enjoys. Well, yeah, Baker to Clark, yeah, but the other bit, no, nobody enjoys that, mate. So Baker will bowl left arm around. I'm not quite sure what we are waiting for.
Everybody starts with spin nowadays, Dave.
They do, yeah. Deepak Patel was the first one I can remember doing that.
He was.
So Joe Clark waits for Josh Baker. Clark whips this one away through the leg side. He'll pick up a single as Ed Pollock is the fielder way out there. Dylan Pennington doing some arm swinging, so I suspect it may be him from the Ratcliffe Road end. Umpire Illingworth is...
Now, is he attending to Joe Clark's bat, or is he...
Oh, something. He put something in his pocket.
Yes, I think he's just snipped a bit off. When I get a moment, I'll mention why I said that.
Bit of tape. Here is Baker's next ball, and this is pulled away through the onside by Hales, again all along the ground. One more to the total. Brett D'Oliveira, the fielder, way out at long on. D'Oliveira not skippering in the T20, but at the moment Ben Cox, and then Moeen Ali when he is allowed to play. Baker bowls again. This one's cut away, backward of square on the offside. They might come back for two this time. No, they don't. Ed Barnard quick to the ball, whips it back in. 3 balls bowled, 3 runs scored, a total of 165 needed for a Nottinghamshire victory, for an Outlaws victory. is Baker's next ball. Once again, played away very calmly by Hales. Out to mid-wicket. Pollock again, the fielder there. So a very calm start to the Nottinghamshire innings. Batting second, of course. You know exactly what you've got to do. Hubbub of conversation around the ground amongst the crowd. Baker in again, bowls. Now he's got that one away. Whipped that one away, backward a square on the leg side. A bit too full there from Josh Baker, and Joe Clark very quickly onto it with the, could almost call it a slog sweep, but more a sweep than a slog, I would say. Picks up 4-8 without loss. The Outlaws. Baker to Clark again. This time he's got it away through the offside. That's beaten Ed Barnard inside the circle. 8 runs off the last 2 balls of the over. 12 without loss. The Outlaws. 10 of those to Joe Clark and 2 to Alex Hales. 2 former Worcestershire players opening the batting.
Yes.
Alex Hales played once, I think, at Glamorgan, if my memory serves, on loan, and then got recalled.
That's right. That's absolutely right. It's going to be Dylan Pennington. Yeah, and just the other day, I think it was with Dave Fletcher, the last match we had here against Derbyshire, we were saying that a couple of years ago, when batsmen came out from the dressing rooms, the umpires had that gauge on them, and they checked everybody's bat, and it was a fad of the time, and it seems to have disappeared just as quickly as it came in. We said the other day we've not seen an umpire do it, and I don't think he was doing it then. I'm pretty sure he was just snipping a.
I don't think an umpire ever said you can't bat with that either.
No. Hales is on 2. He faces Pennington straight up in the air, and Hales is out. Says, don't bother running, Joe. There's no point, and he's gone. Got a top edge, it ballooned up off the shoulder of the bat, and he walks away, swishing it in frustration. He's out for 2. Mentioned he'd not had a deal of cricket. He's not going to get any more tonight. It was Josh Baker who took the catch, and Dylan Pennington couldn't have had a better start. First ball, he's got Alex Hales. That's a nice one to stick in the old scrapbook. Hales out for 2. And not a 12 for 1 in the second.
Cramped him up a bit there, and I think, I'm not to say he's beat him for pace, because Hales will have faced faster bowlers, but I think probably it was onto him a little quicker than he expected. And as you say, very comfortable catch for Josh Baker at that short third man position, just inside the circle. Ben Duckett on his way to the middle. And a boost for Worcestershire. They probably need a little bit of a confidence booster this early innings. They may think that 164 was a good score, but it looks a good pitch to me. It's coming through nicely onto the bats. Ben Cox, the Worcestershire wicketkeeper, orchestrating all sorts of things here. He's got sweepers out on each side.
Yeah, just got a bit big on Alex Hales. I don't know if he was in 2 minds and was trying to whip it away on the leg side, but it just ballooned straight up in the air, didn't it, off the shoulder of the bat, and a simple catch inside the ring at short third by Baker. Pennington to bowl then to the left-handed Ben Duckett, and he's away. First ball, just dabbing it away off his hip, and he's up and running. I've been whistling in the wind all season as usual. I can't believe that Duckett isn't the best number 3 in the country, but other people think, we'll go into the first test match with somebody who's never batted at number 3, but
I think it's not necessarily your form or your ability that gets you in or out of the England test team. There we are, we'll leave it at that. Full stop, new paragraph.
Yeah, he's been in cracking form. Clark is on 10. He's only faced 4 balls. Pennington, a former teammate, bowls to him, and that's elegantly stroked through the offside by Joe Clark. And he takes a single. D'Oliveira doing the fielding on the boundary away to our left in front of the Fox Road stand. Joe Clark got a blast century during his Worcestershire days against Durham. He got off the mark with one for Notts against Durham up at Chesterley Street, and got one last year, a really spectacular quick fire one at Wantridge Road against Northants. Duckett, his great mate, runs this to backward point, and they take a single. They're really on away trips, not in each other's company.
How many tests did he play, Ben Duckett?
4.
4 was it?
2 in Bangladesh, 2 in India in the 16-17 winter.
Never to be seen again.
He had, he was called, I'll finish it in a second as Pennington is in to Clark, as he had a nibble at that one, didn't get anything on it, goes through to the keeper. Since he's been at Trent Bridge, he was called away to play in one T20 international for England, and that was it. And was it last year? When was the COVID year? We remember when they selected 15.
The third team turned out.
Yeah, and they all, or somebody tested positive, so they had to select another side. Well, he was in the other side that was selected, but still didn't get a game. Next ball is cut away by Joe Clark. Nice meaty clump off the toe of the bat, and he inspects it and nearly wipes out umpire Bailey as he has a swish at it. 16 for 1 after 2, successful over for Pennington. 1 over 1 for 4, ideal as far as the Rapids are concerned.
Yeah, he's 4 tests, 3 ODIs, 1 T20, and of course, because of his heritage, played for Welsh Fire. Welsh Fire, a team based in Cardiff that has no Welshman in it.
Captained Welsh Fire, actually. Johnny Bairstow did it for the first 2 games and then left, and Duckett skippered them for the rest.
Yes, they had one player from Glamorgan last year who was a South African, so that really that'll sell tickets. We've got Charlie Morris.
I was going to say I'd be disappointed if I don't hear the word cheerful anytime soon. That's what you call him, isn't it?
Cheerful Charlie Morris.
That's it.
He's a good, nice lad, Charlie. He's going to bowl from the pavilion end, right arm over to Clark, who has 12 runs against his name and will have 13 runs against his name as he turns this square on the leg side for D'Oliveira.
Not only is he a good bowler, he's batting at number 3 for Notts on my card. I've just written in Charlie Morris instead of Ben Duckett. There we are. So we've got crossings out and scribblings everywhere.
I don't know whether his dad's listening tonight. Cheerful Charlie. He's recently retired as a clergyman, and he's going to sail his boat around the world, apparently. I don't know whether he can pick us up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but 17 for 1. Here's Morris to bowl to Duckett, and Duckett pulls this one away through the leg side, 4 runs, too short from Charlie Morris. Duckett quickly inside the line, whacked that one away, and the Nottinghamshire Outlaws total increases by 4 to 21 for 1. I thought I could hear a plane. There's one right above us, so they must have changed the flight path. Yeah. Wind's in a different, I don't know if they do. Do they take off into the wind anymore? 21 for 1. Clark 13, Duckett on 6. 165 needed for the Outlaws.
It's a little bit help yourself, that one, wasn't it?
It was
sat up and
and this looks a decent pitch. It's not slow at all. Morris in again, and this time Duckett works his way through the onside out to long on. He's going to pick up a single as Jack Haynes does the fielding out there.
I did mean to say when Fletcher went off at the end of the innings, 164 for 9, and that it was career best figures of 5 for 32. Actually, whilst I was looking at the scorecard in the interval, it changed. They've obviously had a bit of a to 5 for 33, maybe one that was put by the scorers as a leg by or a bye or some such, was then recalibrated once the umpires got off the field, but he changed from 5 for 32 to 5 for 33, so they are his
Charlie Morris
figures.
The floodlights beginning to take effect. Morris is in and bowls. This is in the air. Is it over the top of... Oh, it is just over the top of Baker, who was very interested for quite a long time. Didn't get hold of that one, Joe Clark. He's got 4 runs for it, but off the splice. He's practicing the shot. And I think he's a bit fortunate there, but
15 love. It was a tennis smash that only just cleared mid-off. I thought Baker was very much in the game as it was on its way towards him.
Changing the field here with extra cover posted out, so sweepers each side for Morris. 26 for 1 in the 3rd over. The Outlaws. Next ball is that's worked away for 4 more. Just down the leg side from Charlie Morris, and almost a leg glance or a leg, what do I know, call it a leg flip, I'll call that. The ball was almost past him when he hit it. It was a shot that the great Colin Cowdery used to play to distraction. Ball going down the leg side, it was almost past him. He just basically helped it on its way to the fine leg boundary. Charlie Morris is struggling to contain here. 14 off 5 balls. Next ball is pulled away for a good stop, good diving, tumbling stop by Ed Pollock there. Would have been 4 if he'd gone past him. So the end of the over, 31 for 1. The Outlaws needing 165 for victory. Clark has 22. Duckett has 7.
Very early, obviously, but this stage Worcestershire were 32 for 1. Came 39 for 2 in the 4th over. Worcestershire's 4th over to be bowled by Pennington, so he's going to get 2 in a row.
They didn't press on though, did they, Worcestershire?
No Pat Brown tonight. He played the other night, didn't he, Dave?
He did. He's not played much cricket for a while, so they're probably rotating these a little bit.
Yeah. Pennington to bowl to Clark, who's on 22, and he was already down in a position very much premeditated, trying to scoop it over his shoulder. Could so easily have just helped it through into the hands of Cox, but got nothing on it. There was one of the Worcestershire batsmen that perished like that, didn't he? Just helping it through into the hands of the keeper.
He hurt his wrist there. He was looking. He's still rubbing it, Joe Clark.
Dot ball for Pennington. Got rid of Alex Hales in his previous over. Balls to Clark, slaps it into the offside. That's a decent stop in the covers by is that Ed Pollock?
It is.
33 for 1.
I tell you what, he's tweaked his wrist there. He's down there. He's going to call the physio for a bit of spray at the end of this over. Trying to play that flip shot. I thought the ball had hit his wrist when he first did it, but obviously it hadn't.
There's Pennington bowling down the leg side. A bit of a lazy flick at it from Ben Duckett. Didn't get anything on it. Goes through to the keeper. Andy Easom, I don't know if you follow the IPL, Dave. I haven't watched a single game, but
a little.
He's just telling me that he's been watching it today, and a 4th century of this year's IPL for Joss Butler.
He is a bit different, that lad.
33 for 1. Next ball is hit away for 6. That's as clean a connection as we've seen all evening. I think this time it has been spilled in the crowd.
Poor.
A couple of good efforts earlier, but that one was spilled in the back tier of the Fox Road stand. Hit up there for 6 by Duckett. That was a nice pick-up, wasn't it? That was a good old...
It was in the slot and he sent it on its way. It was never going anywhere else.
Duckett's on to 13, just 5 balls faced. 39 for 1. There's Pennington. What's he got by way of a response? Bowls and Duckett's hit it. Oh, one bounce to Morris at mid-off. Could so easily have just slapped it straight down his throat and been walking off.
Bit of splice in that, wasn't there?
Yeah. The next 4 batsmen almost literally could come in any order. Tom Moore, Samit Patel, Dan Christian, Stephen Mullaney. Almost on a whim of the skipper. 39 for 1. Next ball slapped away for 4 by Duckett. Short, it was wide. He had to wait for it. Maybe there was a little bit of pace taken off it from Pennington, but it was just too wide. And Ben Duckett's he's in such good touch that he wasn't going to miss out on that. Red ball, white ball, whatever you're sending down at him is in really good touch at this stage of the season. 43 for 1.
Too much width there from Dylan Pennington. What Worcestershire need now is a couple of tight overs, because they're romping it at the minute, the Outlaws.
Pennington in again to Ben Duckett. Oh, again fairly wide, and called as a wide by umpire Rob Bailey. It was a little quicker, it's a little shorter. If Duckett had chased after it, it'd have been playing it at shoulder height with a horizontal bat, but he left it alone. He knew it was too wide and would have to be re-bowled. Colin Munro comes all the way across from extra cover to have a word with the bowler. That's good from one of your experienced men. 44 for 1. Duckett has 17, his shirt number, and he's turned this behind square. Probably only, well, yeah, they settle at 1.
Yeah, there's only one to D'Oliveira out there.
Good fielder. Single taken. 45 for 1 after 4 overs. Duckett, who's he's a great counter. I know it's up there on the board how many balls have gone, but it's staggering how many times he takes a single from the final ball of the over. It'd infuriate you in club cricket. 45 for 1 after 4.
Matthew Waite is going to bowl his first ball in T20 cricket for Worcestershire, on loan from Yorkshire. Wasn't allowed to play on Wednesday against his parent county, if you want to call it that. As I say, Worcestershire need a wicket or some tight overs here. Waite, right arm over in bowls, and this is pushed away on the onside. The first ball of the over is a dot ball as Munro comes in from mid-wicket to do the fielding. Still in the power play, of course, as we have just started the 5th over. Floodlights definitely making a difference now.
In the North Group, Dave, Northants finished 223 for 4 at home to Durham. Chris Lynn 83, Ben Curran 71.
That might be enough. Here's Waite in again, and this time another dot ball. As trying to work something there, Duckett, and it just didn't give him the room. Bowled it nice and tight into the body. Plenty of chatter around the ground.
Say that. Durham have replied with 52 without loss, 54 without loss, still in the 4th over.
Oh, blimey. They played on the edge of the square there or something. A 20-yard boundary. Here's Waite in again, and this is flicked away. It's going to go for 4. Just straying onto the leg side. Duckett, too good a batsman to miss out on that one. Just flicks it away off his pads. 4-4 back with a square on the leg side, and the Outlaws are 49 for 1 midway through the 5th. Generally a good pitch at Northampton, has to be said, for batsmen, but yeah, could be game on, couldn't it?
It's a lot. 223 though, isn't it?
Waite in bowls, Duckett cuts. He's going to get a single here. D'Oliveira is the fielder on the cover point boundary. One more to the total, which moves on to the 50 comes up. Even the home team's 50 doesn't get a great deal of applause these days. Yeah, don't get much in county championship cricket.
No.
Clark 23, Duckett 23. Clark 23 off 13, Duckett 23 off 12. Waite moving his fielders around. He's got his mid-wicket goes to deep mid-wicket, and he's got no cover on the offside boundary now as he bowls, and that's very short.
Oh,
and that's,
dear.
That was a rank long op, and yeah, I'm sorry, you can't bowl that to Jim Clark. You can't. I don't think you can bowl that to any batsman really, but not to Clark. That was hitting the boundary railings almost before he left his bat.
My playing days are many moons ago, but I might have fancied having a little go at that one.
Waite in again, short again, and he's gone into the crowd. Sixpenneth. Pollock out on the boundary was interested for a while, and that is not great bowling, it has to be said from Matthew Waite. 2 very short deliveries, and he really hasn't got the pace to bowl it that short, and the score
60
is hidden somewhere.
60 for 1 after 5. I snatched it before it
You've got to be quick.
Disappeared onto the crowd shots.
I reckon there's a little contest going on between us and the chap operating that up there, just to see who can get it first. Charlie Morris is going to bowl. Well, I said earlier they always reckon 60 for 1 off the power play is decent. 60 for 1 with an over left of the power play, and Worcestershire really do need to make something happen here. It's almost down to a runner ball already. Outlaws won 105 from 90 balls.
Both bowlers got similar figures up there, not very flattering. Waite and Morris 1 over, none for 15, as Duckett's hit this one leisurely away over deep square for 6 more. That was nothing more than a casual pick-up, and he's deposited it into the larwood and fosse, and there's a little area where there's empty white plastic bucket seats, and the ball landed amongst them, so that one couldn't have been a crowd catch. But another 6 to Ben Duckett, and I say again, don't think there's a better number 3 in the country, but there we are. 54 from 26 balls is the partnership at the moment between this pair. Duckett 29, Clark 23 in this.
Length ball on leg stump, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to go.
Duckett's on 29, 66 for 1. Next ball is it. Straight up in the air, and he's going to be out. And Charlie Morris is going to get him. It should be taken by Pollock, and is. And Ben Duckett slaps the face of his bat with his hand and has gone. He's left a few runs out there, and my word, did Worcestershire need that. 66 for 2. Duckett out for 29. Caught by Ed Pollock from the bowling of Charlie Morris, and having almost nonchalantly helped the previous one into the stand. I think he thought that one was there to do the same, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and having done that early in the over, he didn't really need to push it, did he? So I think he'll be extra annoyed that he's got out there, because he, as I say, get 6 early in the over, you really don't have to smash it around. And again, the Outlaws down to almost a run a ball, so I think Ben Duckett will be extra annoyed that he got out there. But a wicket for Worcestershire. It was one of those, it was in the air for such a long time that you've seen fielders collide before, but Ed Pollock obviously shouted mine, 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 and got it. 66 for 2.
I'm not entirely sure, Dave, when Samit Patel's pomp was. He seems to be a model of consistency year after year after year, but even in his pomp, whenever that was, I don't think he's ever had such an ovation coming out of the dugout as he had then.
No, I think he'd had a bit of charisma with the crowd down when he was a deep square leg. I think he was giving them a bit of a G up. Always helps.
It does indeed. So we are 4 balls away from the end of the power play. Patel on strike, and Charlie Morris bowls to Samit, who very nearly chops on. It just came back a little bit, decent bounce, and he ran it almost down his leg onto his boot, very close to the off stump, and there's no run. Cramp him up. That's a different mode of attack, but it's a successful one.
That's the I think that's the thing on this pitch, because any width
you're going to go.
Yeah.
The thing with Duckett is a complete 360-degree player, as Morris is in and Patel eases it to point, and there's no run. If you look to tie him down in one particular area, he'll just play switch hits or scoops or whatever. And I think now he's gone, that balances it up a little bit. Still some fine players. Joe Clark has got a start here, 33 from 15, Patel. Christian Moores and Mullaney will occupy the next 3 spaces. Still in the 6th over, Morris 2, Samit Patel, and again he can't get off the mark, just guiding it with the open face to short third.
Yeah, well, as soon as he went for 6 off the first ball in this over, he's pulled it back really well, yes. Charlie Morris. He got a wicket and 3 dots. So 4 dots, if you count the wicket as a dot.
Floodlights just starting to take hold now. If you're watching on the live stream, you'll see shadows around all the players. 6 floodlight pylons here at Trent Bridge. Patel hits it back to Morris, and as Dave says, an extraordinary over, but one that the Rapids needed. 1 for 6 from it from Charlie Morris. And at the end of the power play, Notts are 66 for 2.
I think Worcestershire had 70, didn't they, at the end of the power play?
56 for 3.
56 was it? I'm not written them down tonight, so I'm very tardy. Ed Barnard is going to bowl from the pavilion end. And he's going to be bowling right arm over to the right-handed Joe Clark. Clark still flexing that wrist when he tried to play the scoop shot. He tweaked a tendon or something.
We've not seen young Dolly yet. He'll bowl, won't he?
Possibly, if needed. Yeah. His wicketkeeper Cox is standing up here as Barnard is in, bowls to Clark. Clark pushes away on the offside. They're going to go for a quick single. They'll have to be quick here as well, and they are. Good running by Patel. Monroe's throw was a good one, and Patel had to get into at least 4th gear to get home. But it was one of those where the batsman plays the shot, calls, runs, and as long as both of them are on the same hymn sheet, they'll get there. 67 for 2, Clark 34. Patel has yet to get off the mark. Now Ben Cox had gone back to his normal wicket-keeping position, but I think Ed Barnard called him back up again. So here's Barnard to Patel, who eases this one down towards third man. There is a third man because we've got the fielders allowed, more fielders allowed outside the circle, and Charlie Morris is the fielder down at third man. So there's 3 out on the onside, a pretty straightforward field from Worcestershire, long on mid-wicket, deep square leg, and then on the offside it's long off and a square cover, I'd say. Those are the boundary runners. Next ball, well bowled by Ed Barnard, pushed back down the pitch by Joe Clark, 66 for 2 in the 7th.
Just looked the other night at Headingley, D'Oliveira 3 overs, 1 for 18, so you'd imagine he'll get
might have a twirl.
A little twirl, yeah.
Here's Barnard's next ball, which is short, pulled away by Clark. Doesn't find the gap though. Finds the aforementioned D'Oliveira out on the deep mid-wicket boundary. One more to the total of 69 for 2 in the 7th, total of 165 needed for the Outlaws to win. And of course Worcestershire have to restrict them from below that total to win, or bowl them all out, which is highly unlikely. Here's Barnard, next ball. It's a slower delivery outside the off stump. Patel will get a single, pushing it out to Jake Libby, who comes in from the cover point boundary to field. One more to the total, 70 for 2. There's a real chatter around there, like a coop full of hens chattering away. They are. Barnard bowls, and this is flat batted out on the offside, but not timed at all. Well, that's a good over from Ed Barnard. So the last 9 balls have gone for 4 runs, I think.
Right. Yeah, spot on. They've reached the midway point at Derby, Birmingham, 200 for 6 against, obviously against the Derbyshire Falcons. There's going to be Brett D'Oliveira to come on to bowl the 8th over. Samit Patel's on strike. D'Oliveira bowling from this, the Radcliffe Road end. 30 years of age now. This is his 107th blast match for Worcestershire. 51 wickets, best of 4 for 26. Ball's wide of the off stump, turned further away, and Samit Patel cuts it nicely out into the deep. That's a good sprawling stop out there. Is that on the fence?
I think it's Ed Pollock out there.
Saved a couple of runs, but Patel back for all that second, moves on to 4. 72 for 2. D'Oliveira again, past umpire Bailey, bowls, and Patel drives into the offside. No run here. Crisply struck from Patel, but Colin Munro dropping down to his right. Next one, sees Patel hit it up in the air, cries of catch. Now down below us is Charlie Morris, and he catches it inside the boundary rope, and Samit Patel goes. 72 for 3, Patel out for just 4, and Brett D'Oliveira's come on and made an impact straight away. Nottinghamshire 72 for 3.
Well, had 2 wickets to any score, 66 for 1, 72 for 3. Much celebration by Worcestershire there. Well judged catch by Charlie Morris. Again, it was one he would expect to catch, and indeed he did. It's a funny old game, T20 cricket. It can turn in not much more than an instant. But well judged, didn't quite get it, Patel. If he'd have been hitting down the ground with a bit of breeze behind him, he might have got away with that one, but
just got under it a little bit, didn't he? It went more vertical than horizontal. I'm surprised he played that shot. He's got Joe Clark there. We saw almost a template for how you play with somebody who's seeing it nicely earlier from Ben Cox when he was in with Munro. He just worked it around, took the singles, kept Munro on strike, and Munro was putting away the big shots. And I think Samit just trying to go almost from second gear to 5th, wasn't he, straight away? Yeah,
and as you say, you know, it's 93 off 75. You haven't got to smash every ball over the boundary.
No. Tom Moores is the new man, lefty in there, and this one worked behind square. Enough bat on that one. And Moores is away. 73 for 3. Came into the side 2017, Tom Moores. Clark nudges this one out to deep mid-wicket. He'll take a single. 74 for 3. Fine start this from D'Oliveira. 1 ball left in his first over. Moores on strike again, and he's gone to try and larrup it towards the city centre, but picks out the fielder in the deep, and a single taken. 75 for 3 after 12. At the same stage, not sure on the wickets, but Worcestershire were a run ahead. 76 for 3, so nothing in it. Worcestershire 76 for 3 after 12, not 75 for 3 after 12.
Yeah, and the old Duckworth-Lewis par score gives you some idea. At the moment it's 70 and the Outlaws have 75, so nudging in front of it. A couple more tight overs or another wicket and could be
saying
game
after
on.
12, I meant 12 to go. It's after 8 overs, of course.
Barnard in bowls, pushed away on the offside. They're going for a single here, and Joe Clark would have got there in my humble opinion. The throw coming in from mid-wicket. They are through. 76 for 3. Colin Munro with the throw. I often wonder how many people in the crowd actually do reply with a day-o and an oo. It's not all of them, trust me. Barnard is in again and bowls, and this one's flicked away by Clark. I think I'm misrepresented him going to the non-striker's end at the last over. It was Moores who picked up that single, and that's Clark who picks up that single. 77 for 3.
Has Azhar Ali now gone, Dave?
No, he's back for the county championship. He's only signed for county championship, so as Barnard comes in and definitely bowls to Moores on this occasion. They go for a quick single here and they get it as well. Good call from Clark, and he was on his way as he called. 78 for 3. He had a shocking start to his spell at New Road. Azhar Ali couldn't almost buy a run, but then he's got
yeah, he didn't get many here in either innings.
70, 80, 90 and 200, so he's in a bit of form now. Barnard in again and bowl, slower delivery. It's in the air, but sliced away through backward point, where Brett D'Oliveira finds himself out on the boundary. There was on the boundary on the other side 2 seconds ago. Is there 2 of them, we ask ourselves? 79 for 3, Clark 38, Moores 4.
Well, he lost his place when he came on to bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, I suppose he did it there. There are 2 balls left of the 9th over. They need 165 to win. Barnard bowls and just pushed away by Clark. Sorry, I keep doing that, don't I? Pushed away by Moores for a single. The clue is that they bat the opposite way around. It's not difficult, is it? 80 for 3 with 1 ball left of the 9th. Here's Barnard in bowls. Oh, that's gone. Many more.
Oh,
that might be out the ground.
Oh.
That might be. No, it's faded. It faded and landed in the white seats, didn't it? I think, yes, top of the white seats. It wasn't far away from going out the ground. A mighty blow. Good end to the over. Nottinghamshire 86 for 3. Moores has 5. Clark has 44.
Just a little bit more elevation, and the cars, I'm sure there are plenty of cars in the Larwood and Vos public house, would have been very much in danger. Right up towards the top of that particular stand. Clark getting hold of that one. 86 for 3 after 9. And at the same stage, as D'Oliveira starts a new one that Moores misses, goes behind him, no run taken. Scores are absolutely identical, is what I was going to say. 86 for 3, 86 for 3. Tie anybody? First game last year, of course, at New Road was a tie between these two as Moore sweeps this. That's through the fielder's hands, but they only take a single. Who's that? Baker up inside the
Baker there, but he got enough on it
Yeah.
to, no, still in Pennington.
He saved 3 runs, but
Yeah, he diverted it to Ed Pollock. So
do you compliment him for saving the 3 runs,
Yeah.
or have a bit of a snarl because if he'd taken it cleanly, they wouldn't have got any.
it's a long way down for a big lad.
87 for 3. Next ball cut away again by Clark into the offside, but he'll only get a single. Crowd just starting to get into this. Not had the dreaded Mexican wave yet, or some such. Very often get it going round the ground. Now then, Tom Moores has hit this out into the offside. We've already seen Morris take one well-judged catch in the deep, but this one falls both short of him and to his right. He scampers round and keeps them to 2, 90 for 3.
Yeah. Push and run for me from here.
D'Oliveira bowls. Moores hits this again towards Morris. Can he cut it off? He can. It's good fielding down here by the fast bowler. Another single taken. 91 for 3. Last ball of the 10th over. Clark obviously there from the start. He's on 45 from 24 balls. D'Oliveira bowls to him, and Joe Clark, he very nearly chopped that on. He's had a top spinner from D'Oliveira and Clark didn't pick it. Nearly chopped it onto his stumps. 91 for 3 after 10. And I can't tell you what Worcestershire were at that stage because I didn't write that one down, but they're roughly neck and neck at this stage. And again, with Monroe in the Worcestershire innings, it's fairly obvious looking at the board who the key man at the moment is. Worcestershire need Joe Clark out. Notts need him to go on and convert this 45 not out into a big one.
Josh Baker is back on from the pavilion end. His first over went for 12 runs, which was indeed the first over of the Outlaws innings. I just said 74 from 60 balls, 74 from 10 overs, which is not a great rate here. So Baker is in bowls, and what's he doing? He's coming all the way down. He's got that away, and who's underneath it? It could be D'Oliveira. Oh, just couldn't get there. That went miles into the sky, and it looked as if it did indeed. It was Colin Monroe, I think, who got there in the end, and it landed between the 3 fielders. Monroe got there, got his hands to it, couldn't hang on to it. I must admit, I'm a little bit puzzled here by the Notts batsmen, unless they got a table booked at the local restaurant.
You're right. You've not got to be too silly when you're only chasing 74 from 60.
No, push it around. Odd ball. If it's a rubbish ball, it's got to go. But very lucky there. Next ball is to Clark, who's pushed back onto his stumps, pushes it away on the offside. Dot ball on this occasion. 92 for 3 in the 11th over. Baker in again, and this time Clark works it away down through mid-wicket. Pollock in from the boundary to field. Yeah, because that shot on Morse could have gone anywhere.
Sort of landed between about 4 prospective catchers, didn't it?
Here's Baker, and this time Moores flicks it away off the pads. He's going to get a single. Jake Libby comes in from deep square leg to field. 94 for 3.
Wonder who it is who's got his finger on that button.
Yeah, I'm sure a fielder who dropped a catch would love to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Baker in again. This is clubbed away. That's going to go for 4. Timed that very well, Joe Clark. And his 50 comes up off 28 balls. 40 minutes, 28 balls, 6 4s and 2 6s for Joe Clark. Timed that one really well. Raced away through mid-wicket, long on, and mid-wicket had no chance to get around to cut that one off. Baker bowls again. This time Clark gets one a little straighter down the ground. He's only going to pick up a single. One more to the Outlaws total. They are 99 for 3. They need 66 to win from 54 balls. And Worcestershire needs something a bit special here. A couple of wickets, a couple of tight overs. The 2 umpires are having a little bit of chat about something. I'm not sure what that's all about.
As long as it's not about changing the ball. Crikey, I don't know if it's been the same in the matches that you've covered, but amount of balls that have been changed this year.
Somebody was saying that one went after 8 balls. They had to change it recently. Apparently there's a new batch of red balls being used in county cricket, but the other ones were made of plasticine, I thought somebody said.
Here's Ed Barnard. First 2 overs went for 15 balls to Clark, who's missed this. Good wicket keeping by Ben Cox, standing up, grabs it outside the top of off. Maybe a little, I thought there was a little word there between the 2 batsmen, but I think Ben Cox was just moving one of his fielders. Here's Barnard in again, 99 for 3. Clark backs away and then just nudges it down the ground through mid-on. Charlie Morris comes in and fields, and now there will be applause from the home supporters because Notts reached 3 figures, 100 for 3 in the 12th.
A ripple.
A ripple. Yeah, they're just realising they're going to be heading home in half an hour as Tom Moores has hit this one. Really big sweet blow into this middle tier just to our left in the Radcliffe Road stand. That's a big old 6. That's a 7. That's a big hit from Moores.
Yeah, length ball, leg stump. Yeah. He's not going to miss out on those. Sweet.
106 for 3. Moores on to 17. A couple of big hits in the last 2 overs. Clark getting one over deep mid-wicket, and now Moores connected with that. Is Barnard. He's rolled his wrists and worked it away between the 2 men on the leg side for another boundary. And quick as a flash, 10 off 2. Just gets it a little bit closer towards a runner ball required. 55 needed off 50 now. Dave's right. They don't really need to take too many risks.
No.
But Tom Moores is, I mean, that's why he's been sent out there.
He's got a taxi booked.
Go out there and give it a bit of umpty. This one is only going to be a single. Jake Libby did well to get a hand to it and parried it out here towards Charlie Morris, and between them they restrict the Outlaws to a single. That brings Nelson up on the board. Lovely evening in Nottingham. It could be a little chilly, I would imagine, if you sat out there, but
yeah,
lovely skies.
Got out the car. The wind was blowing. It was a bit nippy.
Barnard to bowl to Joe Clark, pushes it back to the bowler. That's a good bit of fielding from Ed Barnard, and we're through 12 overs. 111 for 3, so Notts require 54 from 48.
We are, of course, only in May, the earliest start for the T20 Blast, I believe. And as my granddad used to say, ne'er cast a clout till May is out, which basically meant don't take your coat off, because it's going to be cold. And I'm not sure if he meant the May blossom, but I think he meant the month away. Brett D'Oliveira's going to bowl. 2 overs for 10 runs and 1 wicket so far, D'Oliveira. So can he produce something to swing this match back Worcestershire's way? It's on Nelson, the score, 111 for 3. But these two have put on 39 off 27 balls so far. D'Oliveira in bowls. The reverse. Away it goes for 1 bounce for 4. Really copped hold of that one. Lovely shot. Very well timed. Well, Moores, having had that let off when the ball went high in the sky and Munro couldn't quite take it, is really making hay in the sunshine. This time a genuine sweep rather than a reverse out to Jake Libby, who's at deep square leg. 1 more to the total, 116 for 3.
Nick Barnes says the Outlaws starting to look good. It is the first game of 14, remember.
It's a long
14.
way. 14 games in about 3 days for some. The schedule is mad.
Dan Christian always emphasises the time to peak is
the
very back end, and you want to be going into finals day in your very best form.
Next ball from D'Oliveira, good line and length, and treated with due respect by Joe Clark. Pushes it back down the pitch, and D'Oliveira does his own fielding. D'Oliveira jogs in again, this time high in the sky. Who's underneath this one? He's going to go. This time, is it wicketkeeper Cox? No, it's not. In the end, it's Ed Pollock who calls and takes it. There was some confusion there, but Joe Clark goes. Again, he doesn't need to play that shot. He doesn't need to play it. It's down to lie on a runner ball. So Clark goes. A wicket for D'Oliveira. In fact, it was Colin Munro was underneath that one. I was convinced it was Ed Pollock, but Munro takes the catch off the bowling of D'Oliveira, who's now taken a 2nd wicket. And if Notts don't get home from here, Joe Clark will be very disappointed with himself. Good 52 from Clark. What's he got? 2 6s and 6 4s in that, but I rather think, a bit like Ben Duckett, they gave it away, didn't he?
You're absolutely right, Dave. Newman is the skipper. Dan Christian, not been seen here since 2020. His first game since lifting the trophy at a pretty much empty Edgbaston, the behind closed doors final. Miserable all weekend that was.
Those COVID years stopped a lot of international players from making the trip. So D'Oliveira has got 2 wickets. Can he get another one? Start to turn the tide maybe about Worcestershire. Still only 49 off 44 balls. I'm puzzled occasionally. Is D'Oliveira in, and Christian does the sensible thing, goes back and across and pushes the ball out to long on. We do of course have the mutiny on the bounty team area. Fletcher and Christian not out there at the same time, but it's got to be done. So
I noticed the golfer in the Worcestershire squad, Baker Finch.
Baker Finch, yeah, he's out there. Next ball from D'Oliveira, pushed away on the onside. There's thoughts about a single from Tom Moore, but there's allowed no from Dan Christian. Brett D'Oliveira's got some half-decent figures here. 3 overs, 2 for 16. And at the end of it, 116 for 4. At the end of the 13th, 165 needed for victory.
Is it Adam Finch? I think
he
played in the... no, Ian Baker Finch was the golfer. Is it Adam Finch in the Worcestershire squad? Yeah,
who's Aaron Finch?
Aaron Finch.
Adam Finch. But Aaron Finch was a golfer as well, I think. Anyway, I know less about golf than I know about cricket, and clearly I don't know much about that.
It's Josh Baker. Will we see Matthew Waite again, do you think? 1 over that disappeared. Non for 15. It's tough, isn't it, to...
They've got
say thank
6.
You, but no thanks.
No, that's it. They've got 6 who can bowl.
There's Baker then, round the wicket, ball into Christian, push into the offside, and a balled no in the direction of Tom Moore's. Remains 117 for 4. Could still get tight, this one. 48 required from 41 as the broad bat of Christian punches this down the ground, fielded by Jack Haynes. I think that's the first time I've mentioned him in the field. He's down below us. Made 15 this evening, batting at number 3. That's a fine player. 118 for 4. Baker bowls and Moores drives crisply through the offside. And they take a single.
I think he got away with one there, Josh Baker. That was a fairly wide half volley. But I'm sure Dan Christian has just said, look, we don't have to smash this all over the place.
Yeah. It's a strange evening. Some poor balls have picked up wickets with great regularity. I mean, I'll speak to Luke later, but I'm sure he'd be the first to admit he got away with 1 or 2 this evening.
You often bowl better and don't get the rewards.
119 for 4. Next ball is played out by Christian, who clearly feels his timing is a little awry at the moment. Good this from Baker. 2 balls left in this over. A couple of singles he'd take. There's one of them. Easing this into the offside. 120 for 4. 45 required from 37. Stephen Mullaney due in next, and then down to the bowlers: Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher, Matt Carter and Jake Ball. Moore's on strike. He's not entirely sure where he's trying to hit that, you know, Dave. It's 6-8 inches outside the off stump and very full. He's down on one knee trying to get it to leg and missed it. 120 for 4 after 14. He's played some lovely shots this evening already. Tom Moores, who's on 28, Christian has 3, but that one wasn't up there in his top 5. 120 means there's only 3 runs from that over. A little bit of Hey Jude, trying to get the crowd fired up. 45 from 36.
D'Oliveira to bowl out, to bowl his 4th over, 2 for 16 off 3. 36 balls left, 45 needed.
Been the pick for me.
D'Oliveira bowls again, and well, Christian again is trying to flat bat that out the ground, and he's missed it altogether. D'Oliveira hands on head. I think he thought he bowled the Outlaws skipper then.
Wasn't too far away.
D'Oliveira's next ball. Now he has got this one away, clubbed it away through mid-wicket for 4. Got hold of that one, which was the shot he tried to play for the previous delivery, but I don't think it was quite there. That was a bit more leg stumpish from Brett D'Oliveira. 124 for 4, 41 from 34 is the Outlaws target. Ben Cox moving his fielders around as Munro goes from mid-wicket to square leg. Comes down again here, Christian, and then pushes the ball down the ground. Seems almost well, he was disappointed with his efforts, but he's got a single.
Nearly yorked himself, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Baker comes jogging in from long on. This time last year playing for Aswood Bank in the Worcestershire League on a Saturday. Josh Baker, now he's playing on a test ground under the floodlights. Here's D'Oliveira in again. This time that's in the air, but is he gone? He has. Oh, it's dropped. Deary, deary me. Who's that way out there? That is a horrendous drop. Straight to him. Who's that out there? I can't pick him out. He's too far away for me. It might be. It's not Ed Barnard out there. That was an absolute sitter. That was a big moment. D'Oliveira bowls again. This time all along the ground it goes out to long on. I think it's Jack Haynes out there. And it was straight to him.
Yeah, fairly fair-haired.
Yeah, it's pretty certain it's him. But that was so straightforward.
Nearly dropped it over the rope as well.
Yeah, probably too easy. 127 for 4. He had too long to think about it. D'Oliveira bowls again, whipped away through mid-wicket. They're going to pick up a single. That is the end of Brett D'Oliveira, who has 2 for 24 and really should have had 3 for 23, because I think they ran a single off that one. But there we are. Catches wins matches.
He's actually doing the.
He's doing long on both ends.
The long jog is Jack Haynes. He's just long on.
Charlie Morris saying, just get on with it, catch the next one.
Yeah, that's all you can do, isn't it, really?
He wouldn't have lost it in the floodlights. Might have lost it a little bit out the wide seats, but he got there. He got both hands to it. And, well, the answer to your question, Matthew Waite is going to bowl another over.
This time from the Ratcliffe Road end. He went for 15 runs from the Pavilion end. He finished his over with 2. Well, pretty much long opts, and he started with another one that Moores has hit away into the Fox Road stand for 6. Yes, it was Joe Clark earlier that hit him out of the attack with a 6 and a 4 to finish his first over, and now his comeback over is put away for 6 first ball. Moores on to 36, 134 for 4. He's had a life, Tom Moores, but he's playing aggressively. He's played some big shots, he's entertaining the crowd, and he's getting knots closer to their target, and he's gone again, this time along the ground, a roll of the wrists, and there's a single. 135 for 4. Knots require 30 from 28. It's back almost at a run of ball again.
Yeah, it's push and run, isn't it? You'd be very disappointed if you were the batting team and you didn't win from here.
Yeah. But there is previous, remember.
There is.
Between Notts Outlaws and Worcestershire Rapids. Waite bowls, thuds into the pad of Christian, would have gone down otherwise. The semi-final in 2019 and last year at New Road, the first match in the competition. Notts were pretty much home and hosed, and again made a right Horlicks of it, and it finished in a tie. 135 for 4. Christian on strike. He has 9. Waite bowls to him, and Dan Christian just bunts it along the carpet down here to Charlie Morris. Moves on to 10. 136 for 4. 29 required from 26. men out. Hales for just 2, Duckett for 29, Patel for 4, and Joe Clark for 52. BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Hereford and Worcester. Very good evening to you all, wherever you're following this match from, as Tom Moores again brings Morris into play. It's been a busy boy, Charlie Morris, in the outfield. He's taken 1 catch. You'd imagine he'll be called back in to bowl 2 of these last 4 overs. His weight better over, well, since that first ball, and this one he bangs in short and Christian can't get it away, so a little bit of a comeback there from Matthew Waite. But, this time they beat me. Ian Smith beat me with the scoreboard. We've got the crowd shots once again. That
Game at Northampton, the run fest, Durham needs 74 off 41 balls with 7 wickets in hand, 150 for 3, so they could get 224 for victory. That's what the crowd like to see. Lots of runs. Here's Josh Baker to bowl. He's bowled 3 overs for 23 runs so far. He's bowling to the left-handed Moores, and his first ball is pushed away by Moores for a single, as we keep saying. That's all the Outlaws need to do. 27 from 23. Well, they'll have to get 2 off a couple of balls as well. But they, for me, are cruising it at the moment. Here's Baker's next ball to Dan Christian, and Christian goes for a massive wahoo over the leg side here. Ball comes off his pad. Imagine it was going down the leg side, hence no appeal. We've hardly had any LBW appeals tonight at all. No,
there's one anywhere on the leg side, isn't there? In front of square.
Push and run. Baker in again, bowls, and this is a push and run from Christian down to long on for a single. Looks to me as if it could be Brett D'Oliveira way out there. He's a long way from us, but I'll say that it is. Yeah. Charlie Morris is limbering up, so he is going to get another trundle. In comes Baker, and this is in the air and safe, out over extra cover. D'Oliveira comes round there, only going to get a single though. I didn't quite get hold of that one, I don't think, but he's picked up a single. Moores has 40, Christian has 11, 140 for 4, 25 from 20 is the scenario. Here's Baker in again. This is a full toss, gone. I didn't really get hold of that, I don't think, but it went over Dylan Pennington, who was in the circle at fine leg, well, a bit of meat and drink there for Christian, who goes to 15 off 15 balls, 144 for 421 from 19 is what the Outlaws now need.
Difficult to know from here how high it was, but good to see the umpires just get on with it. It wasn't that high.
Yeah. Next one, that's gone. That's just over the rope. I made it for 6 and the umpires agree. So Baker goes for 10 off his last 2 balls. Outlaws need 15 from 3 overs. Christian has 21, Moores has 40. Partnership of 34 of 26 balls between these two after Joe Clark went for 52.
I hesitate to use the word decisively, but it has certainly nudged things even more in favour of the Outlaws. I think before that over, they were strong favourites. They've just got nearer with those last 2 shots away by Christian, as Neil Diamond earns a few more quid. Going to be Charlie Morris. He's going to bowl round the wicket. His first 2 overs went for 21 runs, but he did pick up the wicket of Ben Duckett. He's bowling to Moores, who's on 40, and a miss hit by Tom Moores onto the leg side. It's another single. Does try and hit it hard, doesn't he?
He does.
It's almost like he's got a personal vendetta against the ball. We're going to have a little bit more Neil Diamond, it seems, doing their level best to get them pumped up. 51 for 4. In this part of the world, this seen as the start of a huge sporting weekend.
It is.
Mansfield Town in the League 2 playoff tomorrow.
The Stags.
Nottingham Forest in the Championship playoff on Sunday. And then back here on Monday evening. I just wonder if there'll be lots of Forest supporters in here in their shirts with lots to celebrate. Been some talk that perhaps if they do win, the players might come along. As Christian pushes this wide of Charlie Morris and will take a single. Bowler just got a fingertip to it but couldn't hang on. 152 for 4. It's also a women's game here on Sunday, 11 o'clock start. The Lightning in action. If you're in the area, want to come along and watch that. I think it's the Western Storm visiting, 11 o'clock start. .52 for 4. Notts require 13 from 16 balls. Tom Moores has 41. Morris round the wicket, bowls, and Moores with a huge swish at that one.
Slow ball.
Almost like a golf drive, wasn't it? He
was almost through the shot before the ball got there.
Looking to drive down the fairway. Dan Christian goes down and passes on a word or two. I think Tom Moores has played enough T20 cricket around the world now to know what happened there and what needs to happen. But a calming word from the captain. 13 required from 15. Halfway through the 18th over, Charlie Morris to bowl to Tom Moores, who hits this one up towards us, and it's going to clear the ropes. Not quite reach this middle tier of the Radcliffe Road stand, but many a mile over the rope nonetheless, and it goes for 6, and Moores on to 47. It's 158 for 4. Won't quite say that drop of Jack Haynes off Tom Moores when he was on 33 has been a decisive factor in this, but Worcestershire could have done with him hanging on to it.
It might have made a difference, mightn't it?
We'll never know.
Well, 7 from 14. I mean, I think we said at the end of the Worcestershire innings we felt they were at least 20 short.
Yeah, it's probably gone now. Can Moores get his half century? He's on 47. Morris bowls to him, and that's thudding into the pad. They'll go for a leg bite. Christian calling him through. Tom Moores remains on 47, not out. Notts requires 6, and Dan Christian's on strike. He might not get the opportunity to bring up a half century here, but it's all about getting the W, as they say, getting those 2 points.
Win your first game.
Hugely important.
It's a really hectic schedule this year, the T20. So Worcestershire will have lost the first 2, which is not the best start.
No, but win your home games and you're right back in the thick of things. Worcestershire won't be too far away. There's Morris bowling, and it's gone through Dan Christian, misses the stumps, and that's a good take by Ben Cox. End of the 16th, end of the 18th, 159 for 4. Notts require 6 from 12. If you're just joining us, perhaps you've been working, perhaps you've been out, perhaps you've been in the car. Notts won the toss. They put the visitors in this evening, and Worcestershire made 164 for 9. It was quite an extraordinary outcome, in that Luke Fletcher came on to bowl the second over of the match, and his first 3 balls went 4-6-6, so he was none for 16 for 3 balls. He finished up with figures of 5 for 33. Colin Munro top scored for the Rapids with 66 his first game. Looks a good pick-up, but maybe, just maybe, he's going to finish on the wrong end.
Oh, that's gone very, very high. Who's underneath this one? Ben Cox is calling for it, and Ben Cox takes it. So Worcestershire do take the wicket of Moores. He goes for 47, going for another monster hit. Got a top edge. Charlie Morris was interested, but Ben Cox called for it. So a 5th Outlaws wicket goes down. Moores caught Cox off the bowling of Waite for 47.
Yeah, so a wicket for Matthew Waite. He'll take something from that. people are going to see, that in scorecards in years to come. Caught wicketkeeper Cox, and just think that was a regulation nick behind the stump, so he had to run almost out of the circle down towards fine leg to get underneath it. Caroline says hi to the Daves. Just to let you know, Neil Diamond donated all his proceeds from Sweet Caroline to charity.
Well, did he? Well
Lovely.
done.
Thanks for that, Caroline. You honestly, I don't know about my esteemed friend here, but you can't expect me to know things like that, Caroline. So very much indebted to you for passing that on. Well done, Neil.
That was Caroline who.
Maybe
Sweet Caroline.
Maybe Caroline. It was. It was written in your honour.
Okay.
Here's Mulaney. 6 from 11, Dave. They couldn't, could they?
It's not possible, is it? Mulaney to face. Here is Waite, and that's a dot ball. Let's build this up. 6 from 10. It's 10 stuff. Well, I don't know. It's a 6 off the last over. A couple more dot balls, and it's a funny game. This is. And pressure does very strange things to people in sport.
It's a funny game, Saint.
And indeed in life. Waite from the pavilion end. Mulaney is getting this one away. It's in the air. But where's it gone? It's gone straight to Dylan Pennington, who is at fine leg. So Mulaney goes. Not only is that a wicket, but of course it's a dot ball. It goes caught Pennington off the bowling of Waite, who's got 2 in the over. And I've got to say, and I've said it about 100 times tonight, I'm a little bit puzzled about the way the Outlaws are going about this. It's a push and run. It's not a try and smash it out the ground, lads. Pressure, it's a funny thing.
It is indeed. It is indeed. 159 for 6. They only need 6. Here's Calvin Harrison. Will he be the one to get Notts over the line? A couple of wickets now for Matthew Waite.
Yes, after he got, I think 3 consecutive balls went for 6. The last 2 have won over, and the first of the next.
Yeah, that's right.
If my memory serves me correctly. So, 6 from 9 balls with 4 wickets left. Worcestershire's spirits will be lifted by this. And Dan Christian has just said to Calvin Harrison,
for goodness sake,
push for 1. If it's a full toss, you can whack it.
What have we got? 3 balls left in this one. Worcestershire will be. They'll want to take it into the final over, won't they, Dave? And that. Like you say, it does funny things to you.
They were calling deep mid-wicket in. So, Waite to Harrison, who pushes away on the offside. Does the right thing. Doesn't find the gap. As Munro comes in from extra cover. Quite sure what he's trying to do. It almost looks as if he's trying to hide the ball. 159 for 6.
6 from 8.
Dan Christian asking the umpire, what happens if it's a tie? Waite in, bowls, inside edge, I suspect onto the pad there, as that was pushed away on the offside. Crowder,
Now then, what's Christian saying here? Just keep it out.
Well, it's last,
What I'm saying is,
last ball of the over.
Worcestershire wouldn't mind if he took a single, you'd imagine.
No.
He's a perfectly capable player, Calvin Harrison, but he's a young lad out there. There is all the pressure it brings with it. Are they going to offer him a single, and will he take it? Or will Christian say, leave it to me?
Who's going to bowl the last over? Charlie Morris has got
Worcestershire want a dot ball here, whatever.
Waite is into Harrison, who tries an expansive shot, and he's got away. I think he's got 4 buys. What's that come off? It's come off the bat, says Richard Illingworth. Harrison, who did exactly what we said he wasn't going to do, tries a scoop shot, gets an edge, Cox dives, goes down to the boundary, almost behind the wicketkeeper for 4. So maybe Christian said, mate, you might as well whack it, because I can face the last over anyway. 2 off the last over.
Waite's come back well, 3 overs, 2 for 28, but he could have done without that.
Yeah.
Really good. Charlie Morris then with the unenviable task of trying to bowl a maiden, really. Mikey chaps, no idea why Notts chose to bowl. They're terrible at chasing. No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're going to win. A few people think it's all over.
Got a very good record chasing, Mikey, but there are obviously one or two high-profile cases where that's not happened. This game last year, Notts chased down the victory target in the 7th over. Here's Morris bowling, driven down the ground. Will it be fielded? It will, by Haynes, and Christian's taken the single to bring the scores level. 164 for 6. So Notts can't lose. 5 balls left.
Well, everybody's in, aren't they? So you beat the field.
Are we going to have a run out?
Are we going to have one of those spectacular scoop shots that comes off probably a bottom edge and goes for 4? It's a daft game, this is.
So Harrison's on 4, Charlie Morris to bowl. There are 5 balls left in the match. Scores are tied. Field getting even tighter. The right-handed Harrison taps his bat a couple of times and then holds it aloft as Morris comes in, and he's gone again for the scoop. Well taken. Just got a little tickle on that, made it bounce in front of Cox, who flung himself to his right and stopped it.
I think the skipper might be looking down the pitch at him now and saying,
had that been the final ball, you know, I think Christian could have got down that end, because
he probably could, yeah.
Cox was in no position really to shy at the stumps, but it wasn't the final ball. There are 4 to go. What's Charlie Morris going to do this time? Has Harrison already telegraphed his thoughts? How will he play this one? Morris into Harrison, 1 needed. It's a push back, and the bowler really did well, stretching to his right, and that's another ball soaked up, and Notts once again are finding it hard to get over the line.
I think Dan Christian's looking a little bit frustrated at the other end.
Went down and did a bit of gardening, and there's absolutely no need. I mean, he's not going to face a ball at this end, so absolutely no need. So 3 balls left. Good so far from Morris in this over. 1 blow would do it. Morris bowls to Harrison. He's cut it through the offside for 4, and there's the winning runs. Notts win by 4 wickets with 2 balls to spare. They've got off to a winning start. Calvin Harrison with his 2nd boundary finishes at 8 not out. Dan Christian at the other end, 23 not out. Notts have got over the line, but Worcestershire certainly made it hard for them in the end. Set to score 165. Hales out in the 2nd over. Ben Duckett made 29. Fancy he left a few runs out there. Samit Patel only made 4. Joe Clark falling as soon as he'd reached his 50. Tom Moores made 47, went after his shots, and 1 big one too many cost him his wicket. Stephen Mullaney 0, but Dan Christian 23 and Calvin Harrison for 8 saw Notts over the line. They've got off to a winning start. Well, Worcestershire on the road, as Dave's been saying. They've lost 2 out of 2, but still 12 games to go and 7 of them at home.
Yeah, and a similar story for Worcestershire to the game against Yorkshire on Wednesday. In a decent position going into the final overs of the innings, but basically didn't press on, didn't get enough runs. Nottinghamshire bowled well in those final overs, and as we were saying earlier, Luke Fletcher finished with some remarkable figures. He will bowl better and finish with 0 for 40 odd, but that's the game, and Worcestershire, they'll know themselves that they've got to bat better in that lower order. They haven't got a Ross Whiteley maybe, or even a Joe Leach to come in now and clatter it around down the order, so they're going to have a, as I say, a rethink. But in the end, a more comfortable victory for the Outlaws than the score suggests, I would say.
Worcestershire's next game, Dave?
They are at Old Trafford on Sunday, and then Durham next Wednesday.
Once again, many thanks for
always a pleasure
sharing the commentary box. Very much enjoyed Dave's company and his commentary today. Hope you have. The Outlaws get off to a winning start. They've got 2 home games to come. Monday evening here against Northants Steelbacks, Tuesday evening here against Lancashire Lightning. Both games will be on BBC Radio Nottingham. It's the start of hopefully a successful sporting weekend, a sporting few days for the county.
Good luck to the Stags and the Forest.
Thank you very much, Dave, and to the Worcester Warriors. Are they playing this week?
They are. No, they're not playing till next week. They've had one home game in 9 weeks. You know, they just.
The Worcester Warriors. Look forward to catching up with you later on in the season.
Yeah.
Enjoy your travels. Safe trip home. Thanks everybody for your company this evening. We'll leave you from Trent Bridge with the news that it's Notts who've got home with 2 balls to spare, winning by 4 wickets. Very much hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Thanks to the production crew and all the camera boys and girls around the ground. From Dave Bradley and myself, Dave Bracegirdle, a very good night from Trent Bridge.
Okay, so with 3 balls to spare, the Outlaws take the victory, and I'm joined now by Luke Fletcher, career best figures.
Yes.
Fletch.
Well, after the first 3 balls, I thought it could be a bad day for myself.
I wasn't going to bring them up straight away, if I'm honest.
Oh my God, it's one of them days. But I suppose in this format, you just never know. You've got to hang in there and hope for the best, really. It's a difficult place to play this, so we're used to that. But now I'm thrilled to get off the mark with 2 points tonight against Worcester, so it's a brilliant start.
Now, I was talking to Chris Hughes at the halfway stage, and he was saying, always think about Fletch, this format, you forget the last ball, concentrate on the next one, and really your first over kind of shows that, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I think through experience you sort of learn that. Exactly what you said, you've got to forget about what's happened and concentrate on the next ball, because ultimately you can change the game within 1 ball, really. You get a wicket, a new man comes in, and it's a completely different over then. So I think with our side we've got a lot of experience. So you got to hang in there as a bowler, and like I say, forget about what's happened in the past, really.
Today, first game of the campaign, really. Crowd, we haven't had it for a few years, like, no restrictions, etc.
Yeah.
How nice was it to have the support back here at Trent Bridge?
Brilliant. It's great that the support's back. It's a pretty cold night as well, so we're grateful that all turned out.
Jono, do you want to just come with? Come with.
No, great the support's back. It's brilliant. It's a good buzz for the players, and we enjoy it and we appreciate everything they do for us. So it's amazing to be back at Trent Bridge in front of a decent crowd.
I think we're going to get cut out here, but we'll carry on. We'll carry on. Just about the batting, to be honest. Just about the batting. Jono, bring the camera. We'll keep talking to Fletch. We'll keep it's going in. Just about the batting at the end. Joe Clark, obviously, the role of the openers there is to kind of attack those bowlers, but just a word on him and Tom Moores as well, because
I mean, Clarkey is one of the most destructive players in the world, isn't he? So it's great that he started the tournament well, and also Tom as well. He's going to be an nightmare to bowl at Tom, especially with a side that short there on the leg side. So both vital knocks really against the Worcester side. They never give in, Worcester. They're a gritty side in all formats of the game. So we're chuffed to get over the line. Great contributions along the way.
A couple of games coming up in the next few days. What you got planned for the next couple of days? Rest and recover, and
I'll rest tomorrow. Then I'm going to Wembley with you. So we've got some exciting games coming up.
But
First one's at Wembley.
But we've got 2 games on the Monday and Tuesday as well.
Yeah,
so,
massive games. Yeah.
I mean, they've come thick and fast, haven't they, at the start here? How important is it to have those home games and just? This format is so quick, isn't it? You don't have much time.
I mean, in the past we've not started great, but tonight we've started well. So you've got to find a bit of momentum. It's a strong tournament, a lot of strong sides out there. So the fact we're playing the first 3 games at home, hopefully that's an advantage to us, which I think it should be and will be. Hopefully that gets us off to a flyer, really.
Now, just finally, because then I'll let you go, obviously, how nice is it to have this back as well?
Oh, great. It's great that the kids are
in. The fans to be able to get a few signatures, say hello to all you lads and stuff like that. It's something that really works well here, isn't it?
Oh, it's what it's all about. It's great to see some familiar faces, not seen for a while, all winter really. But no, it's brilliant. You see some new faces every year, people that are getting into the cricket, so it's great. Like I said, it's a cold night as well, so it's they're still hanging around here, so it's great.
Cold. It's very cold. Now I'm going to let you go. Can you do me a favour?
Get Carter.
Get Carts or get Sam here. I'm going to quickly just just going to quickly have a word with Matt Carter. Thank you, Fletcher. I'll see you soon, mate. I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this, my earpiece is gone, so I can't hear the director, Kirsty, so I'm absolutely winging it here. Thank you, Carts.
That's fine, mate.
I was just talking to Fletcher. T20, crowd, home, first game of the campaign, to get a win. How are you feeling?
Yeah, buzzing, to be honest with you. Couldn't have asked for a better start, really. Obviously, the conditions with the wind and to the shorter side, it was quite hard work to bowl to for the lads, but I think credit to everyone who stuck in and, well, it could have been a lot worse on another day, let's put it that way. So, fair play to everyone. Well, that's...
Just from a first game point of view, obviously, new track, not sure how, this is playing this year, etc., and the new pitches. When you saw their total, 164, what were you thinking as a group up there in the dressing room, in that short interval that you get?
When we were taking wickets, we heard the batters that were already out there from them saying we could do with probably at least 180, so we knew we were somewhere in a decent part of the ball game when we looked at them about 5 overs left. I think they only had about 140 something like, or 130 something like that. So we knew we was in charge for a period of time there, and we managed to see it out till the end of the innings. So no, I think we're definitely confident going into it.
Did you think you might have to get your pads on?
Did have my pads on.
Did you?
I ended up being sat in the dugout. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you don't mind that, do you?
It was written though. Go in, 1 ball, 4. Didn't happen though.
It didn't happen. I was just saying to Fletch, and I'll ask you the same thing. 3 games in a short space of time, all home games for us. How much of an advantage could that be to get the campaign off to a real good start?
I think personally it could be massive. I think because you look at how well the crowd gets behind us and how many we get in each home game. And obviously this ground is known for being a nice, high-scoring ground usually, and obviously if we can keep putting performances on where lads aren't getting anywhere near 190, 200, I think teams are going to come and already think that they might be slightly behind the 8 ball with the way that we can go. But I think definitely the main area that's the best about this is definitely the amount of people we're getting and the atmosphere that they create.
Have you missed that? Have you missed the atmosphere?
Massively. I was only saying to Sam earlier, I was like, second team stuff is good. I was like, but I need a crowd.
Yeah.
I need.
What does it give you? What
It just
what extra do you get?
Probably gives me about an extra 5% of energy.
Really, like that more.
Obviously, 2020s is great fun anyway, so you always get up for it. But I think hearing everyone and seeing how much fun everyone's having when we're playing and the lead up to it as well, I think it definitely adds at least an extra 5% onto everyone.
Right, I'm going to let you go, mate, because you've got signing to do. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and congratulations on getting the win. And we'll see you Monday.
Lovely stuff.
Another fixture. Thank you very much, mate. I'm just going to very briefly ask the Jono, the cameraman, to see whether shall I try and get anybody else. This is very off the cuff. Yes, okay, I can hear Kirsty. I'm going to try and get somebody else. So if you just give me 2 seconds, let's get up Joe Clark, scorecard from Joe Clark, and we'll try and get somebody else very briefly. Okay, so we have moved into the autograph circle. We're just going to try and grab the captain, Dan Christian, just for a quick word. He is getting photos and some signatures with the crowd, so we'll try and get him very shortly. But if you just literally join us or you want to score, the captain is here. DC, thank you very much for joining us. Perfect way to get off the mark with a win. How did you feel at the halfway stage, first of all, 164, chasing that target down?
Pretty confident, having bowled them out. That was a great effort by our bowlers. Bowling them out probably meant that they were 20 short, I think, on that wicket. But in saying that, they bowled brilliantly as well. And I know we're only 5 or 6 down, but it was a bit tougher chase than we expected.
Now, I've just asked, obviously, Fletcher and Carter, spoken to them. For you, obviously, not here last year. We had the COVID year before that. How nice is it to be able to do this? Because not everywhere does this. It's a very kind of Trent Bridge thing, isn't this? Being able to speak to the fans after a game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's nice to be able to see everyone and listen to everyone and listen to the crowd and all the cheers, and particularly when we're doing well, it's nice. So
have you missed that? Have you missed the crowd?
I have, big time. We had a few crowds in the Big Bash, but they were not really at capacity. So it's been 2 years for me. So it's playing all around the world with no crowd, so it's been very, very different, and great to be back here. It's certainly the best crowd to play in front of.
Now, I've just asked the other lads as well, and I'll ask you finally, and I'll let you go. 3 games in a short space of time, all at home. Obviously, one ticked off with a victory. How crucial could the other 2 games be in just getting that lift off? Because we sometimes struggle, haven't we, to kind of get going at the start.
Yeah, I think that's a really important start for us, not just from a team perspective, but just from just to settle some nerves maybe. And a few guys got good starts with the bat. Duckett, Clark, Tom Moores played really well. Bowlers were fantastic. Fletcher, Pfeiffer, obviously, but everyone else bowled really, really well, I thought. So nice momentum starter for us, I guess.
Yeah, and just kind of, I know you said an interview with obviously the Trent Bridge media team that this format never really gives you a chance to kind of look back on a result or take your foot off the gas, and I suppose with the Monday-Tuesday fixture it's concentrate on those 2 when they come around.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of this format. I think you can, if you really want to, you can pull apart all 240 balls, but you won't get anywhere, so you've got to you just end up going around in circles. So I think back-to-back games are fantastic. You pick out the little things you did really well, maybe try to find 1 or 2 improvements and go from there.
Well, it's a long tournament as well, isn't it? There's always things that we can improve. I'm going to let you go, mate, because I know that you've got more photos to take and more signatures to sign, I'm afraid, DC. But well done, bud, well done. All right. Now, I'm just literally seeing whether we've got Joe Clark or Tom Moores. I would like to speak to them, but I can't actually see them. So I think... Oh, no, is that... T Moores. Dane, can you just grab T Moores? This is so off the cuff, ladies and gentlemen. You got... Yeah, well, yeah, if you can, yeah. Just 30 seconds, mate, sorry. This is very off the cuff, mate. Yeah. We're absolutely, I'm going to be honest, we're absolutely winging it tonight. Winging it, but it's all good fun.
It's T20, isn't it?
It's T20.
Exactly.
How nice was that? Enjoyed that out there? Looked like you was in a little bit of good form and enjoying it, shall I say?
Yeah, it was good fun. Obviously, bit in and out, bit of fortune, but, that's short format cricket, that's T20. It's high risk, and luckily for me, and Joe today, it came off, and the way Fletcher bowled, and Matt Carter as well, and all the lads, to be fair, it was a great team performance. So it's always fun to get back out there and fun to start with a win.
Now for you, obviously wicket-keeper, you get to see every ball close up. Batting second, what did you learn from the first innings, and do you actually enjoy batting second because you can learn something from the first?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously your target's set for you for start, so obviously where you're at, the run rate you need. It can get a bit twitchy, like we saw towards the end always. So that's the downside, I guess, of chasing. But I think we've got lads now who played a lot of cricket, and we back each other to hold our nerves, and got over the line at the end. So I think we learnt from them that the pitch was a good wicket. There was a strong breeze today and quite a short boundary to one side. So we knew that was always going to be targeted, and it's tough to defend, and we know Trent Bridge is a high scoring ground, and if someone gets in, it can be really tough for bowlers.
I've asked everybody else, so I'm going to ask you as well. Crowd in today, this here, the autograph circle as we like to call it, it's something very special here at Trent Bridge. How nice is it for you to be able to come out and just say hello to you know, young kids, older people, etc. We've missed it, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously after, you know, COVID and stuff like that, you know, it's brilliant to have the fans back in, showing their support, and you know, that's what we try and put a performance out for them. You know, it's a 12th man for us all the time. You know, coming to Trent Bridge, we say, you know, make it, you know, a bit of a fortress, and I think, you know, we're so lucky to play in front of this crowd in T20s every home game. So yeah, it's great to see everyone, and obviously all the kids and everyone here tonight. So yeah, it's great to have them back.
Do you think we could make it a fortress with these other 2 home games that we've got Monday, Tuesday? It really gives us a chance to kind of springboard into the competition.
100%. Yeah, I think the way that, you know, the fixtures are at the moment, we've seen they're coming thick and fast this year and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, we're going to try and do that, and you know, getting the crowd behind us, which they do, massively helps, and we appreciate that. You know, no fault. So I think, yeah, you know, we're going to try and make it a fortress, and tough to come here and play.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you get back to the signatures. All right, mate. Thank you very much. Well done.
Cheers.
Enjoyed you batting today, Tom. Never say that enough, do I? All right, cheers. Okay, well, I think that's enough for today for this fixture against Rapids, which the Outlaws have taken the 2 points. Thank you very much for everybody that has obviously come to speak to us, and thank you very much for watching this stream this evening. We will be back on Monday when we face the Northampton Sealbacks. But from everybody here at Trent Bridge Live, thank you very much for watching, and the Outlaws started with a victory.